like this happens, I'm pretty sure, all across NBA, MLB, NHL. He's the one that obviously got caught, but I believe this was two consenting adults. You know what I mean? Two consenting adults. I don't believe that she was stalked and harassed all these years, and then you just stayed there, and like you didn't go to the police, you didn't do nothing. Like you just stayed there and kept waiting for university to to look out for your well being, and they weren't. That's so odd to me. I don't know. As a woman, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to the police. That's what I'm doing. What's up? What's
What's
up? What's up?
happening?
How
What's
you
happening?
doing?
Man, same suit just reheated. My phone stopped working. It just
Oh
don't work no
man.
more.
Oh
Right.
man. We got
Yeah.
to get that fixed, dude. We got to get that fixed.
Yeah. I gotta get that fixed ASAP, like in the
Yeah, I
morning.
know.
But I
I was
can't do
like,
it in the
man.
morning.
I was like, man, what's going on with him? Maybe he out there in
Yeah.
traffic or
I was
something.
like, man, how I'm gonna get in touch with it. So I did chat with you on Instagram, but
Yeah, I saw it just now.
I had to use my computer to do it. So,
Oh
I was
my.
like, man, you
Oh
know,
gosh.
right.
Yeah, you gotta get that fixed ASAP. What did you think
Yeah.
about this whole Sherrone Moore situation? I think it deserves an apology. What do you think?
Man, I mean, I kind of was ahead of the curve on this a little bit.
Hmm.
When it first happened, I was like, man, I think Michigan they up to some funny business. I
Hmm.
think they wanted to let him go, but they didn't want to pay him his contract. This is
Yeah.
what they do to the black head. Michigan State did this same thing when they fired their head coach a few years ago. They try to find a reason why they shouldn't have to pay you your money. But them white coaches get fired, they pay them all their money. You
All the
know,
time.
Bowden, Kelly down at LSU, Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M got all their money. But
Hmm.
with the brothers, some happen, and it's usually a sexual allegation. Some,
Hmm.
that's why they got to be careful when you messing with the snow bunnies. Don't get me
Why is
wrong.
it so funny though?
Yeah, like I said again, I'll say it again. You have to be careful when you messing with the snow bunnies. Like now, don't get me wrong. I get it. I understand why, but you just
Hmm.
have to be extra careful. Definitely in a
What you mean you
situation.
understand why? Hold on, nerd skirt. We'll go back. We're not gonna just gloss over that. What you mean you understand why? What that mean? What do you
I'm
mean?
saying this. I'm saying this. If that's gonna be, if you got a wife and she's a snow bunny, fine. But you can't have a side chick be a snow bunny. You just can't do it. You just can't do it.
So the so,
I,
so the side chick should have been what? Indian, Asian, black? What you what you saying?
the side chick should have been a paid servant. That's what she
How
should have
about no
been.
side chick at all? Just
Yeah, but
honor
I'm
your vows,
saying
man.
I'm saying I agree with you 100% on not having a side chick. But I'm saying, guys,
But
I understand most guys, a lot of guys. I ain't even gonna say most because I don't know most,
mhm,
but many guys are gonna have a side chick. I
mhm,
get it. If she's a paid consultant, if you're paying her for her services, guess what? You done paid her. You ain't got no backlash. You ain't got to talk to her. You ain't got to pick up nowhere. You ain't got to do nothing. Go
mhm,
ahead and pay the side chick. Every time you visit her, drop her off $40, $50, 200. I don't know, whatever she worth. Drop her off and let her know I got a family. I don't want you to call my phone. I call you. Don't contact me, or else you subject to get in trouble like what he did. But I think Michigan was complaining. I think Michigan knew about the
mhm.
relationship for a couple years,
I
and
believe so too.
I think Michigan was in cahoots with the young lady to railroad Sherrone Moore, and that's what they did. And now, with his lawyer coming out and, man, pretty much. I mean, some of the stuff we was already talking about when it happened, like when he's in your house, if you're that afraid, why you call your
Mhm,
lawyer first?
mhm.
Why you ain't call 911?
She should have been called 911 for the beginning. I mean, if you're saying that, because now she's saying that the university knew about the stalking and the harassment, and if they did, then obviously they knew more than what they were telling us. That's the first thing. But why were you still working there? Like, if you have somebody who's really stalking you, they won't leave you alone. As a woman, I'm scared. I do not want to be in the same vicinity. I don't want to work directly next to you or with you. If I know that if I feel like this is like going way beyond. If we were messing around and I wanted to break it off, and you're like, no, you're not going to go anywhere. It's me or you or nobody else kind of
Right.
thing. I'm terrified. I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. Like, I'm not staying there. I don't want nowhere near you. None of it. Like, get me out of here now.
I mean, if she's smart enough to lawyer up for the situation that she's currently in,
That was
if
after she had a conversation with the university, and they probably
correct,
told her this was what's going to happen. So she was like, "Let me lawyer up real quick
right,
before I say anything."
right. But if all that what you saying was is true, that she was Michigan knew about the harassment and knew
Allegedly,
she was
let me say that.
allegedly knew about the stalking, she could have sued Michigan.
Hmm.
She could have sued Michigan a long time ago and got more money than she's stand to gain from the situation she's currently in. So
Hmm.
it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I believe Michigan wanted to fire Sherrone. They knew about the relationship with her. They called her in the office. They all made a deal, and they decided to railroad Sherrone and fire him with cause, and that allows you not to have to pay him his what 19-20 million dollars a year that he had on this contract.
I do believe that there will be a civil suit coming. This is my personal belief. There has been no mention of this. But for the fact that you arrested him with a warrant and you didn't necessarily have the proper evidence to
Right.
obtain that warrant, he has cause for a civil suit. Because you arrested him, you charge him with felonies. Now you're dropping the felony charges because you don't have enough evidence to make them stick. It's a complete mess. But in the meantime, his face is still out there. His whole credibility, character had just been shot to hell. I mean, he could make a statement and say this is not true and I'm innocent, but in the court of public opinion, it's a wrap. It's done. If will
Oh
he ever get
yeah.
hired again? Probably not. Maybe a high school coach, middle school, but college, NFL, never. Unless John says, "Hey, come over here."
Yeah, he might have
Excuse
to
me, excuse
start.
me, Jim.
Right, he might have to if he wants to continue. I believe he can get a coaching job, but not on that level. He has to start out real small and work his way back up. Maybe HBCU. Maybe
Maybe
high school or maybe
Colorado.
a deep no, not Colorado.
No, Dion don't bring him on the coaching staff.
It definitely won't be Colorado. But maybe some D3 school,
Mm-hmm.
he might can be able to do that. Mel Tucker was the other guy from Michigan State I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
And actually Mel Tucker, since this situation with Sherrone Moore has happened, Mel Tucker has actually opened up a lawsuit against Michigan State to try to recoup his money because it turns out that he was also lied on when with his situation. So yeah, I definitely hope Sherrone Moore files a civil suit and go and get the money that he deserves
Yeah,
because they railroaded him. They really want to fire him, but they could not fire him without cause because they don't want to let no brother sit at the house and make 20 million a year. That's not what they're trying to do. You got
well,
to work for your bread, cuz.
he definitely got a cause for a civil suit, so they might want to go on ahead and just do what they got to do, just pay that man.
Oh,
Um,
Michigan gonna fight it though. They got big bread and they can pay their attorneys. Now this might be a situation where who can withstand the trial the longest.
mhm.
Because Michigan got bread. They can go to trial for a year, 2 years, however long it take. Can Sherrone Moore go through a trial for 2-3 years? And they might try him like that, but hopefully he wins at the end of the day because clearly Michigan they don't look good in this situation right now.
But they didn't look good in other situation. I mean, weren't they just before he got hired? Before Jim went to the Chargers. They
Chargers,
had their
right?
whole little thing going on as well. So there's been quite a. You can tell they're not the most ethical and integral
No.
university that there is. So this is just something else that adds to it. Maybe Sherrone and other guy you told me about Tucker, maybe they could do a kind of joint thing, because the more people that come out, the better the better, the stronger the case is. You know, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. The serious HBCU should not use as a default when PWIs terminate you.
Yeah, I
So
don't look at it like that.
I'm
Nasir.
gonna say, where do
Go
you think he
ahead.
should go? Go ahead. I was gonna ask Nasir what does he think he should go. Go ahead, continue.
No, I was saying Nasir looking at it from the opposite end of the spectrum than I'm looking at it for. I'm looking at it as Sherrone Moore is a good coach, and any HBCU school would be lucky to have him.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be the upgrade over just about every HBCU coach, and they should be honored to have him at their school to coach their football players. And unfortunately for him, it'll be downgrading for him, but it'll be an upgrade for any HBCU program. So it's an opportunity for a HBCU team to get better. At the same time, it allows him to get his footing back and maybe use that as an opportunity to get another D1 or D2 job as he try to climb his back up. I mean, his way back up to the ranks, because he's not the first head coach of a major college that has done
Mm-hmm.
something that was quote unquote scandalous. I mean, you look at Bob Petrino. Bob Petrino in Arkansas, he had a girl on the back of his motorcycle. He was trying to get away, so he couldn't get caught, and the girl fell off the motorcycle. You know what I'm saying? And not only did Bobby Petrino get another job at Louisville, which is
Mm-hmm.
still a good job, Bobby Petrino got a job with the Atlanta Falcons. He was the head coach, and he quit like 3 or 4 games into the season. He was like, shoot, this school is offering me more money than the Falcons are offering me. I'm out. In the middle of the night, he leaves, has a scandal, and then gets another job on top of that. So we've seen head coaches. We can go to Rick Pitino. He got caught having sex with the side chick at the restaurant.
Oh my.
So
There were
we've
two
seen,
consistent adults. It sounds
right,
like so.
yeah, hey, but she was a side chick. He was at the
Uh-huh.
restaurant with his wife. So
Wait, she was there? They both were
yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe his wife was there. He went out to the bathroom with the side chick. But
Wow.
my whole point is,
That's very bold.
yes, he got caught, and
His
but
his
my
wife is
whole point
definitely
is,
his wife is definitely not black.
nah. But
Because
he still,
that would have got crazy at that restaurant, I'm telling you.
yeah, that would have got crazy. Yeah, that would have been crazy. I mean, the story by itself was bizarre. But my whole point is, Patino and his brother both got D1 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't stop nothing. So I don't think this should stop Sherrone Moore. I understand that he doesn't have the complexion for the protection. So he might have to go down to a HBCU or a D3 school and work his way back up. But there's no doubt in my mind, if he's a good coach, he should have the opportunity to coach.
But you can be a good coach, hell, even a great coach, but once your credibility is shot, or you're in a sense blackballed, or the word is out, about you, you can be extremely talented, but it's really, really hard. And honestly speaking, I hate to like throw race in there all the time, but in this situation, him being black does not help. You know, um,
No, it doesn't
typically
help.
they're typically they're more forgiving. When you're white, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I hear what you're saying this year about not no HBCUs not being the stepping stone. I understand what you're saying, and I get what you mean about not being a default. Um, but sometimes things happen sometimes where they're supposed to happen. It works out for the greater good. Maybe him getting fired. It might be a blessing. For it might be time for him to go someplace else and pivot. And perhaps there could be something really awesome that happens at a HBCU if he got hired.
These guys, man, I tell you, a guy like Nasir, I
Uh,
get you got pride in your HBCU and all that kind of stuff, and we all root for the HBCU, but you got to be realistic. Dion went down to Jackson State so that he can move up to Colorado. Uh, but the running back Eddie George started out in HBCU school so he can move up, and now he's at Bowling Green. I hate to be the harbinger of bad news, Nasir, but HBCU is a tad little step higher than high school football. It's not D1 football. I'm sorry to break the news to you. It's not on the same level. It's
That's
not.
because they put more money, and things behind those kind of programs.
Yes.
So all the talent goes to private, white universities, if you want to call it
Yes.
that, because all the money, all the investors, all the dollars are behind it. But in terms of talent, I believe there's a lot of talent that we don't know about that are at
No,
HBCUs.
no, it's not. Because if the talent was there, I mean, in the 70s and the 80s, all the best football players came from HBCUs before they started going to PWIs. Now all the best talent go to PWIs. That's just the way it is. If there's a
I
guy,
don't think all the
check.
talent is there.
No, it's always gonna be a guy in the undrafted 6, 7 round guy who went to Jackson State or went to Grambling who can get on the team and earn his way. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if Travis Hunter had a stayed at Jackson State for 4 years, he still would have been the number 1 pick in the draft. He was that good because he's that good. If HBCUs have players on the level of Travis Hunter, guess where they're gonna go? They're gonna go in the first round or the second round. That's just how it's gonna be. The NFL is looking for talent no matter where they can find. They found Kurt Warner in a grocery store. It don't matter where you at. They're looking for the talent regardless of where you at. So
They found him in a grocery store. What do you mean? Explain.
Kurt Warner was working in a grocery store, and now he played at a college. He was playing arena league football. Then he started working at the grocery store. The Rams invited him to camp. Trent Green was supposed to be the starting quarterback. Trent Green got hurt in the preseason game, and
But they saw him playing someplace else. Is what you're saying first?
yes, he was in arena
Okay.
football. Right.
Okay. And when
Right.
was this?
This was This had to be 2000, maybe 2000, because the Rams won the Super Bowl. Not no, so this had to be like 98, 99. Because this when
Okay.
Rams won the Super Bowl. So yeah, but I'm saying either way it go, if you got talent, they'll find. Steve McNair went to Prairie View. He was the 3rd pick in the draft because he was a
When
great
was,
quarterback.
when
He
was
went to
this?
he went to Prairie View. Steve McNair, when he get drafted, he had to get drafted. I was still in college, so he had to get drafted around probably about maybe 96, 97.
Everything is what you're saying is a lot older. We're not talking about like current 2022, 2023, 4,
I mean,
5,
we can
6.
go Carson Wentz.
You know.
Carson Wentz, Trey Lance. They both went number 1 and number 2 in the draft. They went to North Dakota State. Josh Allen went to Wyoming. I mean, they gon' if the school got the talent, if you got the talent, they will find you.
Mm-hmm.
You will get an opportunity to go to that combine. If they don't, you will get to go to the Senior Bowl
Well, the
or the East
combine
West
has a
Shrine.
lot of players that we don't necessarily know about.
Yeah,
Unless like
yeah,
you're
but
really into the combine and you're like really watching everything. There's so many players that come through there. If you don't really keep an eye on it, you won't know half the
yeah,
names that are there.
but these NFL teams hire scouts for a reason. These scouts, their job is to go
I'm talking about
find
the
the
public.
talent.
I'm talking about the public, not
Oh,
not
well,
not
the
the
public
scout.
is the public ain't gonna know. That's why you got Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. They one thing they good at is let you know who's available, what the scouts are talking about, what are the
Mhm.
execs talking about. So a lot of times the public don't get an eye on these players until they're brought to the light by Todd McShay or Mel Kiper Jr. But Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay are getting their information from professional scouts. These scouts' job is to go to games, find a talent, no matter where it's at. It can be at Colorado State. It can be at Grambling. It can be at Norfolk State. It don't matter. Joe Flacco went to Delaware State. It don't matter where you at. If you got the talent, they're looking for you. So that was my whole point in saying I think a lot of these talented kids, black kids, should I say, should be going to HBCUs. That way you can elevate the HBCU program because it don't matter if you go to an HBCU. If you're good, they're going to just get you from the HBCU program. And you're still going to be the number. Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State.
You do have there is a sense of you have to work a little bit harder when you're at one of those programs. And
Yeah.
I'm all for people going to HBCUs. I tell my son all the time, like if you're a 4-star, 5-star athlete, if you have the talent, I think you should, if you can, go to HBCU. Why? Because you'll bring more eyes to the school. You can bring
Yeah.
more awareness. You can hopefully pave the way for somebody else to come after you or have somebody else want to come join you. and they see that you're there. It always just takes one person or two people to go and for the rest to follow. But more times than not, people don't want to go because they're like, the
No,
school doesn't really have the amount of money and dollars and
right,
investors and things behind it. So they go, to the universities where they have all the money, all the
correct,
ESPN, the film time, the show time and everything else when they're going to have the bright lights on them so they can show how talented they are.
right.
But like I said, I guess we'll see what happens in the future with that. I just really hope that he gets a chance to coach someplace else. I don't think HBCU was a downgrade as a person, but in terms of colleges going from D1 to HBCU, it is looked at as going down.
It is going down.
I understand what you're saying this year. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, like from your perspective, but I'm just thinking about like the court of like public opinion, so to speak. You know what I mean? People see, Dukes and Alabamas and things and
Right.
Georgia's up here, and then they see Jackson State or I forgot where's or Norfolk, right? Is that where what's his name is at I can't think of his name. I was just watching the show today. Um, just watching the show. What's his name? The quarterback.
The
He got
quarterback
trouble
from
for
where?
dog racing. He got trouble for the dog fighting.
Oh,
What
Mike
is his
Vick.
name? Thank you. I was just watching the show the other day. I could not think of it. But they're thank you. And the CIC put Vic in the I'm like, I cannot think of the
Mm,
name. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. But I love even for Dion though, because I mean I really wish that Dion would have stayed a little bit longer. Just more. But he wants to move on. I get it. But I look at what they're doing now. They're trying to bring the prime to HBCUs, with the hiring of Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, and
Deshaun
so on and
Jackson,
so
right.
forth. I don't know who's going to be next, but I think it's great. So if, Sherrone Moore can go there and be one of the other ones, and we have some more coming in, hopefully
Right.
that will happen and bring more awareness to it. Because Mike Vick, he got the show also with his players. It's more exposure. They get a chance to really, see people we wouldn't necessarily really see if we didn't really watch, you know.
Right.
They got to
It'd be
use it.
great. It'll be like I
Yeah.
said, it'll be great for Sherrone to get his feet back, into the coaching game, and it'll be great for HBCU because they'll get more attention. Wherever school Sherrone Moore goes to is gonna get a little bit of attention, whether it's for good or for bad, they're gonna get some attention. So, that's a positive thing. So I just
I'm,
don't see now when we talking about education, yeah, HBCU is just as good educational wise as any school. I would say that it's not a step down education wise, but when we're just
looks like
talking
it's
about
more fun too to me.
yeah,
Looks like it's
yeah, a
more
lot
fun.
more fun, and they got better bands. So you talk about
The
the
bands be
band,
going
you
off.
you stepping up when you go to HBCU. You go to Southern, you go to Grambling. Your
Oh,
band
Grambling,
scholarship,
stop playing. Grambling is one of them
right?
ones.
Yes, yes, but when you talk about athletics, we talk about basketball and football. Let's just be real. You know, it's a step down from the PWIs because of the money. These players who go into these PWIs are not only trying to get a bag for themselves, but a lot of time they're trying to get their families out of a bad situation.
Yeah, there's not
And
too much.
and
There's not too much NIL money. Also,
right, it's not too much NIL money in the HBCUs. It's
and
unfortunate.
that's what
Matter of
everybody's.
fact, HBCUs are in a situation where they, Donald Trump he signed an executive order to give HBCUs 255 million a year. Arthur Blank just donated $50 million to the HBCU. This is where they got to get their funding from. They're getting their
Yeah,
funding from the guy who everybody want to call a racist, but HBCUs taking his money. I don't see Nasir being upset about that. So let's just be real about what HBCUs are.
I don't
When
trust
it comes,
nothing that Trump does.
yeah, I mean you can't. But he gave them that money, and he was doing this the first time he was the president. He gave HBCUs money, and all the HBCUs president went up to the White House to shake his hand and take pictures and to thank him because no other president was willing to sign an executive order to
Nothing like
fund
trying to get. Nothing like trying to get that
HBCUs.
black vote.
I
He
mean,
ain't slick.
whatever it takes. I mean, like you say, if Alabama and
He ain't
and
slick.
Clemson and North Carolina and Duke, if they want the black players, guess what they got to do? They got to hand out a bag, or else I should just take my talents to Norfolk State, or I can take my talents to
Mhm.
Prairie View. Or I can take my talents to Jackson State. What you
I'm
got to
gonna move
offer
on.
me?
I'm gonna move on, you guys. We've got a lot of topics to get to. We'll go on to the next one. Read this last comment. HBCUs are due billions due to
I
extensive
agree.
underfunding.
I agree.
Right, I'm gonna move on, you guys, to Jalen Rose. He has some interesting comments on black sports, which caught my attention. I was like, a black sport?
Wow.
First off, but that's basketball and football.
Wow.
First off, but that's basketball and football. Those are the only sports that have salary caps are black led.
Wow.
First off, but that's basketball and football. Those are only sports with salary caps. Baseball, golf, NASCAR, tennis, you can keep naming. They do not have a salary. That's the first thing.
Holy shit.
Is correct. The second thing is they have no after high school restriction. So that's a residue of slavery. Is because we're going to get money off of you for multiple years for free. There's no way around it.
How can we start? So we got to start a union, the coalition.
Yeah, but they
got to start.
right.
Okay.
They doing it now. They getting paid now.
Nah, but he just made it finished.
Yes. And so what happened in the game is it became so obvious because of social media and because of information. It's like, we're making billions of dollars. We got to pay them something. That's how it ended up happening. Right. And so for the player, like, you're an artist. You guys are artists.
We've been bamboozled.
Right. And y'all know, thank you. That's where I'm going. Like, I have a
rape and pillage.
And no shots or no shade or whatever, like, whatever. But I'm just like real spill. Like, I have a free lock shirt.
No doubt.
Like, I have one.
Let the locks go.
Yeah. and what ends up happening in entertainment is we're the worker, we're the talent, but we're not the owner. And that's the same thing in sports that happened with the NIL. So I'm happy to see players now getting paid off of their name, image, and likeness. But if you notice, you still got to pay the system. Like NFL players, you have to be 3 years removed from high school to go to the NFL. A lot of people don't realize that.
Maurice Greg got messed up.
What you think about his comments? I'll let you go first on this one.
I see where he tried to come from, but it doesn't add up.
Say it again.
I see where he's trying to come from, but it just doesn't add up.
What doesn't add up?
The only sport in America that really doesn't have a salary cap is Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is the only sport that doesn't have to comply to antitrust laws. They're the only sport. So you can pay a guy however much you want to pay him, and team salary cap can go through the roof. But what a lot of people don't understand, when you get drafted into the major leagues, for the first 7 years, you only can make a certain amount. The players that get the big bucks, they've been in the major leagues for a while. You don't get drafted in the major leagues and then all of a sudden you getting big money. No, you gotta play now. Like, you got some guys now, if you're really good, let's say you're really good by year 4 in Major League Baseball and you deserve more money, you got to go to arbitration. Okay, once you go into arbitration, you can say, I performed this well, my ERA was this, or I batted this, I deserve this based on what the market is, and a judge has to say he does deserve X, Y, and Z, but you're only going to get paid, you're still not going to get paid fair value until you can become a free agent. Once you become a free agent, then you can hit the 300, 400, $500 million. Kurt Flood lost his career, his Major League Baseball career, because he took Major League Baseball to court for players to have the right to be free agents.
Mm-hmm.
He lost the case, but a couple years later, they did open up another player when they did end up opening up free agency. He ended up winning. I mean, they overturned his decision, but baseball blackballed him from the game. And so he sacrificed his career for the right for players in baseball to be able to go into free agency. But if you look at all the other sports, NFL is the only sport that has a hard cap. NBA has a soft cap. Those owners, which I always, they can pay the players whatever they want to pay them, as long as you're willing to pay the luxury tax, which is going to be what, $1.50 for every dollar that you go over. NHL, I think NHL is more. It might be one or two black players in the NHL. NHL has a hard salary cap. That's a white sport. You look at Major League Soccer, that's more white and Latino players. They have a salary cap. Rugby, salary cap. So Jalen Rose, his argument, I get what he was trying to say. It just doesn't add up when you start thinking about all the other quote unquote sports that you would consider white. Those other sports he's talking about, tennis and golf, these are not team sports. These are individuals. That's if Serena can go out there, Serena can get paid what she want to get paid based on what her market value says she's worth. She's gonna negotiate that. In golf, you have to put up the money. You have to pay into the tournament. And then you got to win the tournament. You got to finish in the top 10, top 20 to make the money. All golfers don't make money. Tiger Woods made money. All them other golfers, they made money all based on what Tiger Woods was able to bring to a tournament. So when his argument just doesn't have solid ground, but I understand what he's saying because he's looking at the NBA is mostly black. And he's looking at the NFL is mostly black, even though for a long time, most of the star players in football, which are the quarterbacks, have been white. And they had to play under a salary cap. So his argument, it just maybe he should have worded it different or presented it better, but it just doesn't. It's not on solid ground.
I understand. I think what he was trying to say. I always when I talk to my son, I always ask him this. Not always, but sometimes I always say, why is it that in a black sport, if we're calling it that, NBA, NFL, you see a majority of all the players, all the employees who are African American, Spanish, or predominantly African American, like the NBA, and pretty much the NFL, and you don't really see too many of us in ownership.
Right.
I think I'm stepping out on a limb here because I don't know him obviously. So this is what I'm thinking that he was trying to say. I think he was referring to we said like we brought up slavery. I was like, oh my God, where are we going with slavery? I get what I think I get what he was trying to say, because even if you think about slavery times, right, you had the employees, black people, who were the ones out there and doing all the hard work and the labor, in the fields and everything. And then you had the white folks, who were in the house and, pretty much just, living off of the work that the black employees were doing out there, in the field, so to speak. And although times have moved, it's I get what he's saying, like in a sense of not so much. It's just different. Now you can still make millions compared to what you were making back then, which was pretty much nothing. You know what I mean? But now you can make 50 million, 100 million, even 3 million, depending on where you are in your career, but you still make some millions or six figures. But at the end of the day, you're still the employee, and this is still who's the head of the house, so to speak. So I think that's what he was trying to say, in terms of what he was talking about, the slavery aspect of it. And from that part, I get that. I always say, how is it we have so much talent enough to bring these owners billions and yachts and private jets, all these different things that they have, but it's off of the backs of the talent of your employees, aka your black players or your Spanish players or whatever have you. That's the part that always stands out to me. And I don't think maybe 10, I don't know, 15 years from now, 20, I don't know, I don't see it being even. Like, I don't see it being a lot of black players playing and then a lot of black players in ownership. But I also feel like it goes back to, in a sense, how we're raised. A lot of times we instill in our kids, play a sport, get to the NBA, get to the NFL, you can make all this money. We don't really talk to our kids about moving into ownership, like Like we always talk about, we think about things like right here on this level. We think about things about in the in the upper echelon of things. You know what I mean? Like go to school, get your education, get your business degree, things of that nature, so that even if after your career ends, because it will end, what's next? Where you gonna go? Even if you don't necessarily want to have to play a sport, there's other things that you could do. You can be a sports psychologist, a sports therapist. You can be a coach. There's so many areas in sports that we also could talk to our kids about. But we always talk to them just about playing the sport itself. So we play the sport, we retire, and then that's it. We go on. We don't really think. I think a lot of times about becoming a coach. Some do, but for the most part, you get your millions and you go on about your business, and a lot of times they go broke. They go back to regular jobs, sometimes in a few years or in 10 or so years, and the money management part is what's missing. It's so many ways this conversation can go. I'm just going to keep it, I'm going to bring it down to minimum for the sake of this episode. I don't want it to be too long or too lengthy about this one topic. But I think I understand what he was trying to say. I do agree with what you said. Maybe he could have worded it a little bit better. But I do get what you're trying to, I think I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was race baiting a little bit. I mean, like you said, black people could be anything. We can be inventors. We can invent things. I mean, there are a lot of billionaire black people. The problem is when you have the people that got a 400 economic head start, and then they kind of are the gatekeepers of owning professional teams. They gotta allow you in to own the team. You can't just have money and be like, okay, I want to buy a sports franchise. All those owners, they gotta vote to allow you to be able to come into the club and have a sports franchise. So it's a very difficult thing to do. And the gatekeepers, which is mostly white people, have been keeping black people out. Now, if he wanted to go there with the message, I would have been right behind him. I'd be like, yeah, that's true. We need more black ownership when it comes to professional sports. But, it's going to drive a lot of people, including myself, crazy when you talk about slavery and you talking about players who got $200 and $300 million contracts. You got people out here on the street who have to pay $3.27 a gallon for gas, who are living check to check, who go to work for these same billionaire owners of their job, but they're not getting $200 million, $300 million. They don't ride Rolls Royces and they don't ride Lamborghinis, and they don't have one, but two, but three $20 million houses. They don't get to wear the diamonds that's going to cost you $200,000 for one chain, and then you get a $60,000. They don't have that. But you want to compare yourself to a slave? That's just disrespectful to me when I think about my ancestors who actually were slaves.
I don't think so, because it's not necessarily about comparing yourself to a slave. Which I think he's just talking about the situation where you have people who are white, in the house making the decisions, making all the calls, so to speak, and they're making their labor and their profit off of those who are out there in the field.
Again, you got 32. You got 32 owners. You got 32 owners. Let's say for football, you got 32 owners, but you got 2,500 players. In basketball, you got 32 owners. You got 420 players. Yes, you have those 30 some owners who are going to make billions of dollars, 800, 900 million, billions of dollars off the backs of the athletes. Mm-hmm. But those athletes are gonna get paid millions of dollars. I got 32 white guys who are gonna get wealthy, but I got 3,000 black guys who are finna be extremely rich. Okay, but that's what are we gonna do?
That doesn't change the fact that they're still gonna make more than you, because
those 32, those few owners. Those few owners are gonna make a lot, but if those 3,000 to 4,000 black players who are getting paid millions, and some of them getting paid 60 million a year, 70 million a year, okay. If you think it's a real problem, and you think you really living as a slave, Jalen Rose, what did you do with your money? Did you get all the athletes together, band together, put y'all money together so y'all can do something big? I heard you one day, Katja, talking about why don't the players start their own league? They're not gonna start their own league because they're not together. All the money these white folks, all the money these 60 white folks paying y'all can take all that money and y'all gonna have just as much, if not more than them, because you do 50-50 revenue sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all come together, y'all gonna have just as much as those owners. Y'all can start y'all own league. Y'all can get y'all own businesses going. And if you're not gonna do that, I don't want to hear nothing about no slavery mentality, because you're not being put in the sweat box. You're not going out to work the fields. You're not locked up in chains. You're not doing that. It's not the same. And I don't appreciate it, because what about the little man?
The times are different. The times are different. So we're not necessarily back, in the early 1900s, 1918, 1920.
Yeah,
but the system that's still in place is still there.
Yeah, but
where
you got people who are
you're
really
making your millions off of us. No, we're not still out in the cotton field, so to speak,
agree.
getting whipped. No, and obviously you're not making a penny on a day's work. Being out in the field, whatever, picking cotton. No, but you are still making money off of us. I think, which is what his point was.
Everybody making money off of somebody. That's just how business goes. That's how capitalism works. But let me ask you this: how much money you think Kroger makes a year?
The grocery store?
Kroger, yes, the grocery store. How much you think they make a year?
We don't have one here. I haven't seen one since Texas. I don't know. Grocery stores are one thing that's always going to be in business. I always say, if you're going to look for a business, get a grocery store.
They pay their employees $10 an hour. These people,
they still making $10 an hour? That's crazy.
If you work at Kroger, you work at Publix, I don't know what grocery store y'all use up there. You work at any of these places, guess what you got to do? You got to have another job on the side. So these people making billions of dollars, and you got to get, not only you got to work for them, but you got to get another job on the side for some other billionaire owner. That's that. Now, if those people want to say we're slaves, then I would like, yeah, that's slavery to me.
Well, I mean, look, anybody can absolutely work their tail off, or whatever, to get to the NBA, to get to the NFL, MLB, or get to those the 1% of 1% of jobs that we do have in the world. You know what I mean? It takes hard work, obviously talent, genetics, and things of that nature. But you have to want it. Let's just start with that. You know what I mean? But it's not as if it's unattainable, to get to those places. Most people don't necessarily. I'm not gonna say most. I'm gonna say some. You know what I mean? For sake of argument, some people necessarily care about being a boss. Some just want to be employees. Everybody don't want to be an employer. Everybody don't want to. Everybody don't want to travel. Everybody don't want to go see see different parts of the world. Some people I know just want to stay in their four corners of wherever they live, and they're okay with that. They tell their kids the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is New York is where it's at, or this little hood we are is where it's at. They're fine with just being in the hood. They don't want to go outside the hood. They love being in the trenches. You know what I mean? They want to stay in the
KD. In the trenches.
And they don't want to go out. They don't. Some people don't know any better because they weren't raised and taught no more, and some just don't see anything wrong where they are. They're like, well, I'm okay here. I'm okay. Life is okay. I'm fine. I'm complacent. And that's just what it is. But for those people who work at Kroger's, like I said, more times than not, when you see the employees and they get paid $10, $12, $9.85, whatever it is, and hopefully it went up because that's crazy in this economy. But if you are you're making $15 an hour, more times than not, there's a owner somewhere who, more times than not, I'm not going to say all the time, but majority of the time, they are Caucasian, or they're a team of Caucasian owners, and they're making the millions, while those who are, I'm going to say less than, but maybe viewed as less than, are the ones who are putting all the work in to make your business successful. So I mean, every job, I think he's just talking sports because obviously he plays sports and they're talking about sports on the podcast. But what he's saying to me can apply to what you mentioned, like grocery store situations. It can apply a lot of different jobs. Teachers, maybe. We just talking about HBCUs in terms of investors and how HBCUs necessarily have a lot of the funding that the white colleges have as well. So all those things. It can go for so many different parts of the conversation. But I think he was just talking more so about the NFL and NBA part of it, but it definitely can be can fall in a larger scope. If you
I'm saying white players play in the NFL too. White players. I don't
either.
White.
So I read his comment talking about the supermarkets we have here. I haven't seen a Pathmark in a while, but they sort of closed down. We do have ShopRite.
I never heard of those two grocery stores. They don't have them in the South.
A
But
lot of the pathmarks that we did have here in New York, they had brought them out, and now you see shop rights. Uh, I didn't trust C-Town's meat section back in the day. I still don't. I do not shop at C-Town. I do not get their meat at all. I'm like, pause. I don't like how it
right,
looks. I don't trust it. So I'm with you. Me and you here in this year. I'm like, nope. When it comes to the meat, I will not purchase it from from what is it? What's the name of that store? My mom always goes there. I can't stand it. It'll come to me. But yeah, C-Town is an absolute no when it comes to purchasing poultry or meat. Nope.
yeah. I'm just saying, are the white players that are in the NFL or the NBA or major hockey, those owners make billions of dollars, and the hockey players are mostly white. Do they consider themselves slaves? I mean, it just like just because you play a sport and the owner gonna make a certain amount of money and you gonna make a whole bunch of millions. If you're white, does that make you a slave? If you're, because my friend used to own a trucking company. And so I went on the road with him a few times. And what he used to do, he used to go to these nurseries and pick up like plants and stuff and take them to a different nursery. But you gotta get the plants from the farms. And so we used to go out to the farms, and man, you had those Mexicans out there. They're picking strawberries. They're working the fields. Their whole families working the fields, growing flowers and doing different things. And they're getting paid pennies. And I looked at that as slavery. It's just hard for me to look at a professional athlete who's getting paid millions of dollars and talk about they're doing slave labor. It just doesn't fly right with me. But I guess I got what he was trying to go to, but I just think he's so
You're thinking
far off
about the
base.
money that the athletes make, not the actual point of what he was trying to say. It's just that you make more money. You know what I mean? But but the same thing is still there. You know what I mean? You take
Yeah,
the
but guess
formula,
what?
take it out of there. You put the same formula in
Right.
programs or Pathmark or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the point of what he was saying.
But the point is, what I'm saying is
They're never going to
slaves
allow you to make more money, so to speak. Unless
slaves
you get endorsements and stuff, no.
Right. Slaves didn't have a choice in the matter. Jalen Rose, he worked hard so he can go work for them white folks and get that money. He had a choice. He could have said, you know what, this is slavery. I don't want y'all millions of dollars. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna start my own business, and this is what I'm gonna do. No, he had a choice, and he decided he was gonna take his talents to the NBA. That's what he decided to do. No slaves, they didn't have a choice. So again, it doesn't make any sense when we talk about trying to compare slavery to professional athletes. I really just think it's disrespectful to the history of black people in this country, of melanated people in this country. It's disrespectful. They didn't have a choice. They didn't say, you know what, I want to go work for Mr. John on his plantation, and maybe he'll give me a Sunday.
We don't have a choice. He didn't say that. He didn't say, no, we don't have a choice. Like, we have to be there. We have to have those jobs. I mean, that wasn't what he was saying. He was just talking about, the way the system is, and the system is the way it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unfortunately, LeBron is the GOAT in some people's eyes, top two or others, you know what I mean, depending on who you ask. That's not even, I'm not even get to that debate. But even he has been trying for so long to get a team in Vegas. And as much as he's done, and no matter how much money he has, and I'm pretty sure he has the money for it, and can find the partners and investors, to put a team together, he's still going to shut out as well. You know what I mean? Like, so they're like, we like you to a certain extent, but we don't necessarily want you on this side because, once you come over here, you're going to bring more people over here with you. Yes. And then that's the power is gonna kind of flip in a sense. You know what I mean? You let one of us in, and we start bringing more with us, then it shifts. You know what I mean? So I like I said, there's levels of the conversation.
It's about relationships.
What he was trying to, I want to say, what he was trying to say. There's no reason why LeBron can't have a team.
I mean, he's playing right now, so he needs to stop playing before he really start trying to really seriously go out and purchase a team. But it's about the relationships that he has, because Michael Jordan owned the NBA basketball team, and Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR team, and he's actually doing pretty well. He won 3 straight races.
He's a minority owner on that NASCAR team, not a majority owner.
Yeah, you're correct about that. And you got a lot of minority owners in professional football and as well as basketball too. You got a lot of minority owners, but Michael Jordan was the major owner He was the main owner for the Charlotte Hornets,
Mm-hmm.
and Bob Johnson owned it before him. So I mean, but it was about the relationship that Michael Jordan built. He built the right relationship with the right people or the white people, however you want to say it. And so, right. So don't get me wrong. I see what Jordan did, but you're right. It's very difficult for melanated people to get into that ownership position. I'm talking about being a majority owner because a lot of times what they do, they go in and they have those meetings and they're the gatekeepers. They shut us out of those positions. So if he wanted to make that argument, I would have been like, Jalen Rose is 100% correct when it comes to ownership. But I just can't compare.
I think what he was trying to get at when he brought up, slavery. Like I said, I think he could have worded it better, articulated it better. You know what I mean? But I think I get what he was trying to say. I think I get it. I could be wrong. That's just what I took from it. We're gonna leave that there, you guys. I agree with you. I think Curry is the best. I love Steph Curry. I'm gonna move on to Clarissa Shields, you guys, because she called out a man, and she says, you know what, I can beat him. You know what I mean? And I'm here for her confidence. I'm gonna just play this little clip, y'all. I'm here for the confidence. Don't be laughing that hard, Notty. Okay, all right. She said what she said, and maybe she has a point. We gonna find out. Where'd it go?
Is there a male champion, regardless of weight?
Yep.
That you believe you can?
I beat Rolly. He's a world champion. Rolly Ramirez. Do you agree or disagree? Speaking out, hold your peace.
I agree. I'm with you.
Do you watch boxing? Have you ever seen Rolly fight?
I did watch him fight. I seen he just won against
Ryan Garcia.
Against Ryan Garcia.
Listen, it's not about. I think Rolly is very unorthodox. He's very strong, right? But I'm way taller than him, way longer than him, and got better boxing skills.
So how about one of his punches, though?
Did you not hear what I said? It's hard for somebody smaller to hurt somebody that's bigger. I walk around at 185. He fights at 140. Or is it 47? It's
He said 140, 147.
But I'm just saying, though, like when you, and then like with his skill, he can't beat me in a fight. And you already know I believe I can beat Keith Thurman. That's real shit. I think I'm a better boxer than Keith Thurman. Not that I'm stronger or can knock him out. I never said that. But anybody can get caught and get dropped and get knocked out.
She said what she said. Stand on it, Clarissa. You know what? Let me go suit up. She got me ready to get in the ring.
Please don't. Please don't.
Let me put my hair up real quick.
No, boxing is for ugly girls. Ugly girls box. There's no pretty girls that's going out there and getting hit in the face.
Put some muscle on or something. I can get out there myself. She got me fired.
Layla Ali is the exception.
She said, "Did you hear what I said?"
Man, I ain't listening to what she's saying. She's talking nonsense, which is cool because she's trying to hype herself up and she's, she got, I don't even know if she really got confidence like that. I don't know if it's more delusion than it is confidence, but definitely not. And you know what I would want to do, and I know a lot of guys would disagree, I would want somebody to sanction the match. Put her
I think you should. I agree with you.
Right. Put her in the match against and she ain't just say any man. She said a champion. Okay, put her in the ring with a champion, a male performer who's a champion, and hopefully he don't hold nothing back, and we'll see if she can last around without being sleep. I just don't. It just don't make sense. They asked Serena. Serena, probably the greatest female tennis player I ever seen. I covered so many of her matches when I was working at CNN. I used to cover all her matches. And man, she's inspiring. She really inspired me. Sometimes I watch Serena matches and lint would get in my eyes and a tear might fall, and I have to wipe my eye because I had some lint in my eyes. But as great as she was, and they asked Serena, could you beat a man in tennis? She's like, no, I can't. The 200th ranked man would beat me. No, it's not gonna happen. And we talking about fighting. No, it's not gonna happen. Like,
Everybody say you
I
crazy.
think I would have a good shot to beat Clarissa, and I don't even box.
Oh, stop.
But I believe you give me 6 months training, and you put me in the ring with her. Like,
here we go. You got to get your 6 months training and everything else. So
yeah, I got
no.
because she already in shape.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean I'm in shape too, but she already been trained. I can't just let her be training like that. But yeah, man, no, Clarissa, I'm sorry, you can't be the champion. You can't be the champion. That's what you can't do.
She's a champion as well, is she not?
I don't give a damn if she's a champion or not.
She can't be the champion. Like she's like not a champion herself. She's
come on, man. You know it's different. You know, come on, stop playing. Stop playing with me.
I'm an advocate for the ladies here. Okay,
Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing with me.
All right,
She talking about this guy Romero. She talking about he probably boxes at 147, 150 somewhere around there.
Yeah, 140. She said she a strong one.
Yeah. He's a man though. He hits hard.
He's a smaller man. Pause.
It don't matter if he's smaller. It don't matter. He's stronger at 147. He's stronger than she is at 185. It doesn't matter. Her bones are soft. No, it wouldn't even be right. But guess what? I want to happen. I want it to happen. I want her. Matter of fact, I want her to fight Keith Thurman. Go ahead, if you believe. And you know what I want to happen? I want Papoose to sign off on it, and I want Papoose to make sure he sign off on it. And when they knock her out, I want Papoose to have to get in the ring and fight that person who knocked her out next. Just so he can.
You asking for too much now. Papoose don't fight. Papoose is a cut man.
I'm saying if he beat your girl, so do you think Papoose can beat Clarissa in a boxing match?
I think she might have him.
All right, well, see.
Papoose look a little soft. I'm sorry.
There you go. All right. I mean, I don't know. He knocked out Remy boyfriend.
So did we see that? Did we actually see that footage?
Nah, I didn't see the footage, but I know he knocked out Remy's.
Right?
No, it happened. It actually happened. It's been confirmed. He knocked out Remy's boyfriend. They were kind of. But it was a dude he knew. It was like, dude, you know that was my wife, and you missed. So he knocked him out. But I'm just saying, no, I'm sorry, Clarissa. I love Clarissa. I just watched her last fight. And she struggled against this girl. She ain't knock her out in the first round. I'm looking for a first, second, third round knockout. You go to distance with a girl who, if she was walking up my driveway, she'll be tired. She'll start huffing and puffing. She was out of shape. And you went the distance with her.
Let me ask you, every fight is different, but let me ask you something, right? Because we are in a different climate and time, right? It's 2026, right? You have women who are, trying to become the president of the United States. You got Clarissa who wants to be the first female, the goat, the goat, race woman of all time.
Right.
She want to be the first one to, I guess, beat a male fighter, Do you think it's possible? Maybe not him, but there's some other, maybe, I don't know, lower ranked male fighter that she could beat. I don't follow boxing the way you do, so I'm asking.
I think women could do anything men can do as long as it doesn't come down to physicality. If it comes down to physicality, that's different. That's why you have women's sports and you have male sports. You got the WNBA.
Wilson say she could beat Josh Hart when on the podcast, and she said that she could beat him, I think, like first to 10, something like that. So
maybe if they were just playing horse, she was
on the basketball.
No, I'm sorry, Ava Wilson, you're not gonna beat an NBA player.
Josh Hart. I remember her saying something like that.
It's not possible. You're not gonna beat an NBA player. Now she might can beat me, but she's not gonna be the NBA player. It's levels to this. If that was the case, and you know what, I would always say this right here. This is what I would say, and I always said this. I don't think there should be a WNBA.
Okay, you know what?
No, hear me out before you. Hold on, wait. Before you go out on a tangent, hear me out first.
All right, get to the
point. Hear me out. This is what I'm saying. A lot of these women really believe that a girl basketball player is just as good as a guy basketball player. Okay, let's get rid of the WNBA, and if you're good enough to make an NBA roster, then you on the team, and let's go for there.
I think. If we're thinking, I'm just thinking about not every player. I don't think as much as y'all say Caitlin Clark, I think Caitlin Clark is a little bit too fragile to play in the NBA.
It's
I'm
physical
just
in the
being honest.
NBA.
Yeah, like I said, she's a problem with physicality. I will say I think Asia could play in the NBA. You know, I don't think she would be as dominant as she is in the WNBA in the NBA. Obviously, all the men, but I do think that she's better than some players that I see come off
If
the bench.
Asia Wilson could play in the NBA, even as a role player, she would get more money as a role player than she makes in the WNBA. Why not take your talents to the NBA if you're that good?
Well, I mean, first off, would they even allow that? You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
the
they
first
allow
thing.
it.
It has to be allowed. You know what I mean? She just go to Amazon and say, "Hey, I want to join BAM," in Miami or whatever have you, and he'll say, "Okay, sure, sign off on it." But there's some that I think could come off the bench in the NBA, and that's in the WNBA.
Okay, go ahead.
Alyssa Thomas, I think Alyssa Thomas one of the ones because she played rough.
They had a woman back in the day. I forget her name. She got drafted to the NBA. Black woman got drafted to the NBA, and like they had like a lot of rounds. Then they had like 6-7 rounds. She got drafted. Now she never played in the game, because she had some injuries. But if you're good enough, go play in the NBA and come off the bench. Be the 15th. Matter of fact, maybe get a 2-way contract and be in the G League. And then get called up a few games, and maybe you can be on the playoff roster, and you'll make more money in the NBA as the 15th or 16th guy than you would be in the WNBA. Financially, it makes
Aisha
sense.
also has endorsements though, so she's not hurting for money.
Of course,
I get what you're saying, though,
yeah, but she not. No, they know it's not gonna happen. They got a women's football league. It seems like it's very competitive. It's very great. They don't want to come and get in that fight with them men. Them men knocking heads off. This ain't what you want.
Flag football.
No, they got a tackle women's football league. I was just saying the other day.
Oh,
The women out there here, they had this big girl come up the middle. She knocked some girls over with. I was like, I hate that ain't gonna work in the field. Now I do think a woman could be a field goal kicker if her leg is strong enough to kick it from 60 yards. I believe a woman, because you don't hit the kicker.
You don't think somebody like what's her name? Sha'Carri Richardson. Like she couldn't as fast as she is. You think she could be a running back in the NFL?
No, she's too light in the ass. No.
You have to catch her first.
She's gonna get caught. Trust me.
She would get right. She would get right to the end zone.
She ain't that fast.
Yes, she is. She goes to the end zone.
No, because they've had.
I believe she would.
They've had men in the NFL who ran track, and they were all faster than Sha'Carri is. Sha'Carri just fast for a girl. For a guy, she's slow. So no, it's not happening. Usain Bolt couldn't play in the NFL. He'll get broke. It's different when you got to put them pads on. So
she's strong.
No.
I think she can get you a touchdown or two a game.
No, come on, stop. If she can get a touchdown to a game, she'll be the MVP of the league. She'll be offensive player of the league if she can get a touchdown or two a game. Yeah, she doing the wrong thing. She shouldn't be running track. She should be in the NFL.
Maybe she should.
Do that. Right.
Maybe she should.
Right. So no, it's not happening.
You know what? It's gonna happen though. One thing about Clarissa, she's fit in terms of like her and 50 Cent. They're very, very good when it comes to marketing. I'm not even sure she believed what she said. More so, she just like saying something she knows is gonna like bring like a lot of people talking about it. Was gonna trend, and like keep her name in the algorithm, and so on and so forth, and get her another big payday. Ultimately, you know what I mean? That could have been what she was trying to do. But a part of me really believes that she could beat him or beat a man. I think she really does believe it though, on some level.
Like I said, it's physical sport. Now you did have Danica Patrick, who was a NASCAR, but NASCAR isn't physical against physical. It's driving the car. And honestly, she wasn't really successful as a NASCAR driver. I used to watch Danica Patrick races because I wanted to see if a woman could, win a NASCAR race. And man, just about all her races ended up with her crashing. And I was like, man, she crashes every race. But you know, she had some success. Like she didn't finish dead last. She was beating guys in race car driving. I think that will work. I think women could be in a sport where it's not physical against physical. Race car driving isn't physical against physical. It's driving the car. So
Let
I
me say
think that
something.
that works.
You got some big burly ass out there. I think that could definitely outman some men in some physical sports. Now, it may not necessarily be boxing, but there's some women out there now. Let's not think that every woman out there. I don't think every man could be every woman in every physical sport.
What sport? Name one.
Name one.
Yes.
Track has so many different
High school runners can
events.
beat the girls in track.
Um,
You can get the best girl racer and a guy in high school.
Let me see something right now. As much as I love little Quincy Wilson, you know what I mean, who I think is going to be one of those ones as he gets older in his 400 meter. He's like the youngest one in the Olympics,
Mhm.
a few years ago. I do not think he's beating Sidney McLaughlin Levrone in the 400. Not right now. I don't. You said high school, so I'm using him as
It's
an
all
example.
time. Yeah, all you
You
gotta
know
do
what I
is
mean?
go look at the time. It's everything. That's the thing about track. It's all timing. We ain't gotta do no head to head. We can just look at the numbers. What was her fastest 400 time? What was
I
his
mean,
fastest
in the
400 time?
Olympics, and that was his first time there. Like he was
Yeah,
struggling,
yeah.
to
He's struggling against the
finish that lap.
men.
You know what
He
I
was
mean?
struggling against the men, but his time is his time. What was his
his time
time and what was her
his
time?
timing was slow. I mean, like compared
Yeah,
to
his
what we
time
know
was slow
he can
for
do.
a man.
He's 14, so like I said, he's 14.
Right.
He's against grown men, so I'm not judging him harshly. I'm just saying you mentioned high school, so I use him as an example. I think he's so talented. I to always watch him run when I get a chance to see him.
Right.
When I watch the track events. But in the future, you know what I mean. I think he'll be one of those ones if he continues on his path. Absolutely. Um, all right, you guys, I'm gonna move on a little bit to the NBA. NBA. All right, I'm not gonna stay on this topic too long, you guys. But this weekend or the past few days, there's been a lot of games going on, and I'm noticing there's some there's some concerns I have with these two teams. And I'm just like, oh man, I was feeling more confident, but now I'm just like, what's happening? So I'm gonna ask you really quickly, this little quick take. Who do you trust more to make a deep playoff run in the East? The Knicks or the Pistons? The Pistons have not looked too good lately, y'all. When you take Kay Cunningham out this game, they are looking a little bit shooketh. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I said a while ago they needed somebody else. They needed a Robin alongside that Batman. He can't do everything. He can't give you 25, 10, 7 assists, and then he also plays defense as well. He slides those puppies out there. You got to have somebody else.
Yeah. I'm gonna shout out to Zara while we're here. But the Knicks are not.
Oh, no, I see it now. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
The Knicks are not on my radar. I don't look at the Knicks as contenders. So
who do you trust more in the East?
I trust the Pistons more than I trust the Knicks.
Really?
Let me tell you. I agree with you. It's good to have multiple superstars on the team so that you can
It may be a
have.
superstar. This is why that you could depend. Sometimes like Norman Powell. I think, for example, you wouldn't call him a superstar, but I was like, why did the Clippers get rid of him? I thought he was a very nice, solid piece
Yeah.
that they had, and then they got rid of him. It didn't make sense to me, but.
Yeah, I mean, but the Pistons have a lot of solid players. They have a lot of good players. Since I've been watching the NBA, I've only seen two teams win a championship with one bona fide star. That was the Houston Rockets in '94 when they beat the Knicks. And then you have the Detroit Pistons who beat the Lakers with Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rashid, Ben Wallace, and those guys. They didn't really have a superstar, but they had a whole bunch of good players, and they were deep. And they beat the Lakers 4-1 with Shaq, Kobe, Karl Malone, Gary Payton. They had all these Hall of Famers on the team, and they got ran out the building. This Detroit Pistons team, they got a good team. If Cade Cunningham is gone, yes, they're going to struggle. But with Cade Cunningham, they have a lot of solid pieces just about at every position, and they have a little bit of depth. So I trust the Detroit Pistons way more than I trust the New York Knicks. I don't trust any team that has Karl Anthony Towns as somebody they're looking to get major contributions from. I just don't. I don't trust Carl Anthony Towns because he's a 7-footer who wants to play shooting guard. And a lot of times when the playoff time,
problem with him wanting to play to be the greatest shooting big in the NBA.
That's fine. That's all good. But when it comes playoff time and they put small guys on you, you got to take them to the block. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to do. Dirk Nowitzki was the greatest shooting big man before Karl Anthony Towns wanted to claim it. Dirk was the best big man 7-foot shooter. Mm-hmm. But when Dirk won his championship, it was when he realized I got to take these small guys down to the block, get in the post. And then Dirk was unstoppable once he started putting people in the post. And Dallas won a championship. That's how you go out and win a championship come playoff time. That's what I've been liking about Wemby. I told you the other day, man, I'm starting to like what I see out Wemby. He got that look in his eye. He got to look like he really wants to win. And what Wemby is doing, he's taking people into this paint and he's terrorizing these folks. That's the Wemby.
He also shoots threes too.
Yeah, but he's doing more of the inside stuff. I'm okay with some outside stuff as long as you know how to take advantage of mismatches and take them to the inside. Now, if Wemby decides he just want to start bringing the ball up, he's going to be this perimeter player, then I have no confidence, no faith in what he's trying to do. But as long as you're willing to get on that block and go terrorize people, yeah, I believe in Wemby and the Spurs can do great things come playoff time.
Well, just to piggyback on what you said a little bit before we move on to the next topic, Knicks or Pistons, who do I trust more? The past few weeks I've been raving about the Pistons, but to me they need somebody else that you can depend on to get points. They do have a great team, I love the Thompson twins. I love Jalen Duren. I call him an action figure. My son like you blazing. I thought he was like an action figure to me, real
All-star.
You know? That too. And he plays really hard. Pause. And a Duncan Robinson to me, I would have rather them go get a Keegan Murray or somebody. I don't know why they got Duncan Robinson. Respectfully, he has no business at starting lineup, in my opinion. I'm like, why is he there? Off the
bench, and they paid him a lot of money too.
Absolutely not. No. Get DeMar DeRozan. I don't know. There's some players in Sacramento I think fit in well for the Pistons, in my humble opinion. But nevertheless, the past few games, I think teams are starting to notice everything's running through Cade. They didn't know already, and they see a difference now. You look at Cade's numbers, he might have 20 points or 25 points, but it's like maybe, I don't know, 8 a 22 or 25. It's not like an efficient night for him as of late. And when he's not, he counts for the points and he also has high assists. So when you cut him off, he's not getting other players, open. He's not, getting players involved in the game, excuse me. And you're able to slow him down, you see a difference. Like yesterday, in the past few games, you saw Jalen Brunson. They've been taking him out the game and kind of forcing everybody else to step up. It hasn't looked the same. Mikal Bridges is someone I don't understand whose idea it was why they did it. Why would you give up 4 first-round picks, or I think 5, or I think 1 unprotected, something like that? Absolutely not. There is nothing I've seen him do that would require that amount, that many first-round picks. Absolutely not. And then you gave him an extension on top of it. Why? What did he do that deserved an extension after the freaking, 4 first-round picks? Like, it's just, no. Something has shifted within the identity of this Knicks team. Last year, to me, they had less talent, but they were always going to be gritty. They were always going to fight. They weren't going to quit until like the clock struck 0. And this season, they have more talent on this roster, and they seem to be up and down. There's some games when they're on and their defense is on and they're knocking down threes and OG Anunoby's doing his thing and whatnot. You can't beat them. Like, they're really hard to beat. And then other games, I'm like, what the hell's happening? Like last night, yesterday afternoon, they were playing the Lakers. I saw Jalen Brunson put up the craziest shots in that game. I'm like, Jalen, what are you doing? Like, why did you even bother to put that shot up? He was like flailing around trying to get the the foul call, and they were not really giving him any calls at all. It wasn't happening. But if I had to say who I trust more, and I'm just going off of what I've seen from this Knicks team in the past, like when they beat Boston last year, like no one thought we were going to beat Boston last year. like at all. Like nobody really saw that coming, especially when they were losing and they kind of came back those few games. After the first one was like, okay, that was just the first game. They'll beat them the next game. Then they did it again. It was like, wait, hold on, like so what's going on here? You know what I mean? But they did it off of just grit. They really played hard with less talent, like just pretty much 5 players. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have a deep bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To really call out, to really help, and they still were able to do it. But that same grit is not there. Detroit to me has all the grit. They have all the drive, to make a deep playoff run. But my concern is when you take Kate out, who else are you going to depend on? And I don't know if they have that. They have enough of it, excuse me,
They don't.
night in and night out, to make a deep playoff run in a 7-game series.
The Pistons are unproven. I'm not picking the Pistons. I don't think the Pistons are a contender. I think you asked a couple weeks ago who are the contenders in the East that you really like, and I don't have the Pistons in there because the Pistons are not proven. Can Cade carry the load for a playoff run? You got to win 16 games. Can you carry that? Can you carry that load? I'm not sure. Are those other role players that he has around him, are they going to be ready to step up when the lights are the brightest? I don't know. I do believe that Cade Cunningham is a very good player. I believe that Bickerstaff is a really, really good coach, if not a great coach. I mean, he rebuilt that Cavs team, and the Cavs let him go because they thought that they needed somebody to finally take them over the hump. Bickerstaff, he goes to Detroit, and now Detroit has the best record in the East. So I think they're well coached. I think the players are solid. They're going to be a tough. They're going to be a tough out. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not trusting the Detroit Pistons, nor am I trusting the Knicks. But I would trust the Pistons before I trust the Knicks because I think the Pistons are more gritty, like you were just saying. I think Cade Cunningham might be the best player between the two teams. I mean, I know Jalen Brunson, he's really good too. And I believe when it comes to coaching, I'm taking Bickerstaff over
Mike Brown.
I'm taking him over Mike Brown. So I slightly believe the Pistons a little bit more than the Knicks, but I don't like either one of those teams to come out of the East to represent the East in the NBA Finals.
Who do you like to go out of the East, real quick?
I do think the East is wide open, which is why I wouldn't discount those teams. But right now, I like Boston. Boston definitely with Tatum coming back, and he's gonna be able to work his way back into things. The way Jaylen Brown is performing, he's performing on another level. I think Cleveland is another team that you're gonna have to reckon with come playoff time, as long as they can avoid playing in Game 7s, because James Harden doesn't play in Game 7s. And another team that I'm really looking at is, and this has always been my dark horse team, the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are playing well right now. I think they're on the 6-game winning streak. They're getting their chemistry right. CJ McCollum has come in and he's just been a bright spot. I mean, he's averaging over 20 points a game since he got there. Jalen Johnson is performing well. With Kuminga, I mean, he's been hurting off and on, but with Kuminga,
he always hurt.
Right. But if Kuminga can finally get healthy and get right and be able to play, string some games together with his athletic ability and what he can bring to the table on both sides of the floor, I think the Hawks are going to be a tough out come playoff time as well. They're going to be sneaky.
My dark horse, I have 2 of them. In terms of the East, and for me, the first one is going to be Miami. I never count Miami out. I think they're very, very well coached.
They are.
Coach well. I think he's a hell of a coach, especially where he came from. And I also, people don't really talk enough about Charlotte. Charlotte Hornets. Like do not count them out.
Right.
Do not count them out. Do not be surprised. I think they're going to be in the play-in this year. I really do have them being in the play-in, and they might surprise people get to the playoffs. Really, really and truly, if they keep going where they are right now, everybody stays healthy, they should get to the play-in and they should get to the playoffs.
Right. I think, and to your point, when you name Charlotte and Miami, it goes back to what I was saying. Like the East is really wide open because those two teams you just mentioned are legit. Charlotte is playing great basketball right now, and we know with all the first round picks they had, the number 1 picks, number 2, number 3, they're finally putting them together, and they're playing some really good basketball right now. So Charlotte is definitely a team that I would say is in the mix. And Miami, again, you can never count Miami out because Eric Spoelstra, they run a tight ship and they're always competing. They're always you got to beat them 4 times. It's going to be tough. They're going to fight, scratch, claw, and do whatever to win. So I agree with you with those two teams.
And plus, they do have the 25-26 NBA dunk champion also.
Oh well,
You
come
know,
on now, come on.
you're a fan of.
I can't give you that. I can't give you that. But everything else I give you, but I can't give you that though.
Well, they do.
They do it. It's fact. What you said is fact. I just can't give you that though.
Oh gosh,
he's not a contributor. He's not a contributor to what they're trying to do long term.
You'd be surprised. He got some nice size and length, pause. You know what I mean? You never know how they're going to use it. Pause again.
Right.
You know, and when they need to. I'm just saying. I'm moving this conversation on to MVP, and to me, I don't know why we're not talking about him more. But I'm just like, this young man should be higher up in the MVP conversation to me. For me, my picks, and we spoke about this like last week before that. For me, my 3 picks are Cade, Jaylen Brown, however you want to go, and then this one to me, he should be number 3 to me, just in terms of what he's done. Add to the stage right. Ooh, just talking about it, man.
Wembanyama will open with a 3. The shots that he alters and changes are the ones that show up just as much. Will show and go to the goal. So Wembanyama for a second triple. Shorty got his own board. He got fouled and got the basket.
It's an experience, right? You're going to see things that you just normally don't see from a 7'4" guy. Look at him track his own miss. In traffic, contact, and the potential and one for Wembanyama.
It was interesting, Friday night in that big comeback down 25 against the Clippers, he had another one of them passing it on, too, the connectivity of greatness. So Durant communicating with Ime Udoka, who's going to guard Wemby here down this end. Nice move by Tyson, the long arm of the league's best shot blocker, takes it away. But by Shepard.
The success of this team, De'Aaron Fox is going to have to be special come playoff time.
Sengun working
Love
on.
it.
Who goes
Love
to
it.
window? Give me a little Tim Duncan.
Grabs the jersey, pulls it down. Doesn't matter.
3-point hit for the
Love it. Volume.
Sorry, I just realized I muted myself. I love the Spurs. I know they're young. Some people say that they're too young to really make a deep playoff run. I have them as being like one of the final 4 teams in the West. Easy. As long as everybody stays healthy. To me, this team is going to go really, really far in the playoffs. They definitely have all the talent, and the coach is new, but he has so much talent, you know, and he was there, you know, under Pop. So I think it kind of worked out for him in his favor. To me, no one's really talking about Wemby, or that's not talking about him enough for me in the MVP conversation. I love the way he leads on the court. He makes no excuses. Even after his grandmother died, he still stayed, he still played, and he was hurting in that game. You know, you could know afterwards, you know, he spoke about it, but he still showed up in the in-season tournament. I love the integrity that he brings to the game. I love how he carries himself. Other night, I think he was about to collapse after the game. He was so tired. They played the Pistons the night before, and I forgot who they played right after. I forgot what team it was. Was it the Nuggets? I can't even think of who it was. So many games that happened. But when the game was over, he was about to collapse. Like he was like about to pass out.
Oh, the Clippers. I think that was the Clipper game.
The Clippers, yes.
Yeah.
But he never cheats the game. He leads by example. Even like little things that he does, like you know, with the beating the drum, you know, just like bringing a little tradition, you know, to the city, getting the fans involved after they win. I just love, you know, his makeup on and off of the court. And for me, he should be in the MVP conversation, even in terms of his stats. You know what I mean? He's not all kind of blocks, threes, and things of that nature. To me, I don't understand why he's not in the conversation.
Well, he'll get some votes, and his time is coming. He's young. He'll I'm pretty sure he'll win 2, maybe 3 MVPs in his career, maybe even more than that. As long as he can dominate. You have to dominate.
I'm not saying he will win, but he definitely should be higher up in the
Yeah,
conversation.
I think he'll get some votes. I probably would have him 4th or 5th right now. I can't put anybody ahead of the Joker because the Joker is the best basketball player in the world right now. And I just believe if you're the best basketball player in the world, you should win MVP. I was saying this when Jordan was playing. When Jordan was playing, he should have won MVP every year if you would have asked me, but they had to give Karl Malone one. They had to give Charles Barkley one. They had some other guys who had to win. So they gave him, people got tired of voting for Jordan being the MVP, but hell, he was the best player in the league every year when he was playing. So, I like the Joker. I don't know of SGA. I think if he plays enough games, of course I like him. I mean, he scores 30 points every night. I mean, how can you not like a guy who scores 30 points every night and his team is going to be probably the best in the West again, and you're coming off a championship. If he's probably the second best player in the NBA, then Jaylen Brown has played outstanding this year. It's just been excellent, superb. There's nothing not to like about Jaylen Brown. His leadership qualities.
No, but he's already in the conversation, so that's why.
He's in the conversation. I'm just reeling out my. He's 3 for me. Jaylen Brown would be 2 or 3 for me. And then, Cade Cunningham probably would be 4 or 5. If you want to put Wemby at 4, I would put Wemby at 4, put Cade at 5, or I put Cade at 4, put Wemby at 5. But it's a great conversation to have because it just lets you know you got some guys out there who are really balling. Well, either of those 5 guys I named can win the MVP, and I would have no argument saying they didn't deserve it. All 5 of those guys.
I don't want to see Joker in the conversation. I don't want to see.
Well, Joker's averaging a triple-double. I mean, he's averaging down there 30 points. He's leading the league in rebounds and assists, and he's shooting over 40% from the 3-point line. I mean, if those are not MVP numbers, then they should just do away with the MVP award.
He doesn't really have a lot of competition. Also, in terms of
he's in the West.
In terms of not his. I'm not the team. I'm talking about him. His position. And I mean, how many other great bigs does he really go up against?
I mean, you got to go against Wemby, three or 4 times because he's in the West. I mean, look, we could sit here and say there's not a lot of great superstar bigs, but the truth of the matter is, no team.
I'm not talking about superstar. They could be, a good role player.
Every good team who's trying to win a championship has to have a big. If you don't have a big, you don't have a quality big, you cannot win the NBA championship. OKC has Chet Holmgren. Wemby, Spurs got Wemby. New York got Karl Anthony Towns. If you don't have a big, last year Indiana Pacers had Miles Turner. If you don't have a big, you can't even compete for an NBA title. No little team is gonna win a championship. You have to have a big in order to protect the rim, get rebounds, get easy baskets. When you get into the trenches of these games, when you're talking about playoff and championships, you have to get easy baskets. So if you don't have a big,
you can have a big, but the quality of the bigs I'm looking at. For example, I'll use Rudy Gobert, in Minnesota. Right. To me, he's just tall and that's all. I'm like, dude, you should be giving me at least. The rebound's not an issue. I mean, it's more so the points. I'm like, dude, you should be a force around that rim more times than not. And I'm just like, to give 10 points or less most of the time is like unacceptable given your size and the height advantage that you have. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
I'm not a Rudy fan.
I'm not either. Like I said, I'm just looking at his game. I'm just like, you to be right up there. Like, come on. Nas Reed is a big as well, but he doesn't always play big. There's some games I'm just like, he averaging 3 rebounds. I'm like, you're right there by the rim. You're like 6'11". You should give me at least 6 or 7 every single game. At least. That man should not be out rebounding you. And he's like 6'3".
I agree with what you're saying, but though the reason why they pay Rudy and the reason why they pay Nas Reed is because those two bigs, they help them beat good teams in the playoffs because other teams don't have the bigs, or Nas Reed has the ability to step out and shoot the three. Now
Yep,
your big who's guard him on the other side, you have to step out to the three to guard Nas Reed, and that opens up the lane for Ant-Man and Daniels and those other guys. So those
He's
bigs
so temperamental. He's so temperamental. Jaded.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man. He got a little attitude on the man. I'm like, dude,
I love
breathe.
his attitude. Right. I love his attitude. But those bigs, that was the formula to beat Denver a couple years ago because they had two bigs who they could throw at the Joker. And then on the other end, you got to guard their bigs, Nas Reed in particular, when he's out there at the 3-point line. You have to guard it. So
It all goes to Ant-Man though.
right.
Ant-Man always sets the tone. If he comes out like this is one of them we're gonna be on this game, they follow. If ever there's a game where he's having a down game, they follow.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier for Ant-Man to operate when you can move that big out the way. And now he can do what he wants to do. He can go to the mid range. He can go pull up for the three. He can get all the way to the basket. He can do what he wants to do. So those bigs are important. Like I said, ain't no team getting nowhere if they don't have a big.
No, I'm not saying the big is not important. I'm just saying when I think of the Joker and his caliber of play, like you think about like guards, point guards, shooting guards. There's so many shooting guards and guards in the NBA. When I think about bigs, a lot of teams have bigs. My team does not. You know what I mean? But if
Your
you
team got a big, he just ain't playing.
if you want to count Al Horford, you know what I mean? He's been
I
out
want to
there.
count Porzingis. Yeah. You got Porzingis, he's big.
No one's counting him. No one's counting him at all. Hopefully he get healthy though. On a serious note.
Yes, he's gonna be important.
When I think of the Joker and I think about his level of play, his caliber of play, should I say, I'm like, who really matches him more? Not even necessarily matches him, but who comes somewhat close. You
Nobody.
know, Rudy is tall, you know what I mean? But you know, he's not as skilled. The Joker's very skilled. I give him that much. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, but you know, like I said, that's another conversation. We go to, you know, how the Europeans do things versus the USA. We don't want to go to another race conversation like what KD did a few weeks ago, talking about AAU and you know Europeans versus American players. But Giannis, I forgot about Giannis. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
now he's not a joke. He's a big, you know what I mean? So yeah, he plays hard, you know. So to me, when I think of bigs in the NBA, I think of Giannis, I think of the Joker, who I think you can trust and depend on. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, Wemby, you can trust in Wemby.
Wemby, excuse me, I was just talking about in addition to him, you know.
Right.
Those three to me are the ones, you know, that to me stick out the most. But I just really feel like we should be putting Wemby in this conversation more. I'm not saying he should necessarily win it this year, but I definitely think he should be. To me, he should be top 4. I don't think he should less than 4.
Yeah, I have no gripes with that. I have no gripes with that at all. I mean, and I think for the Joker, somebody told me this a long time ago.
He's been available pretty much the whole season too. He's been available. So has K. So has Jalen Brown.
As long as you play your 65 games, I'm cool with whatever comes after that. If you don't play 65 games, then the rule says you can't win nothing. Now, I'm cool with that too. The rim is 10 feet in the NBA. That means at the core of it, the NBA is a big man's game. It always has been. It will always continue to be. Joker as a big man, and it hasn't been this way. I think we got spoiled with the Michael Jordan era, the Kobe's, the LeBrons. We had guys under 7 feet who would be considered the best in the sport. But you're just back to an era now of the big man is the best player in basketball. And if it's not Joker, it's gonna be
he's the best player.
I mean,
he don't play defense. I can't see the best. We only play one side of the ball.
I mean, he's 7 feet. He just by him being 7 feet and 280, if he just stands in the lane and does nothing, he play his great defense. It's just like Shaq. People don't look at Shaq as a great defender, but Shaq was so big, you had this, you can't come in the paint. So it doesn't matter. He's not Wemby. He's not getting 5 blocks a game, which I think Wemby is going to be the next great best player because he's 7'5",
He does everything.
and
He wants to do
right,
everything
and
too.
he can do it all. He
Mhm.
matter of fact, he can almost do everything Joker can do, except for he's better. He's Rudy Gobert on defense, but he can shoot just as well as Joker. He can play on the block just as well as Joker. He's just not as good as a passer or good as a rebounder
Yeah, I'm about to
as
say
the Joker just yet.
I'm gonna say playmaker. You know, he's not as
Right,
he's
right. Not yet, but he will be.
Not yet. Yeah.
I believe at some point Wemby will become a great passer, and he has to be a better rebound. There's no reason Wemby should not be leading the league in rebound. There's no reason.
I think because of the way the team is set up, because he has Stephon Castle, who gets about a good 7-8 rebounds a game. You got De'Aaron Fox. He's smaller, but he gets about 5 rebounds a game. You got Vassell. You know, he gives you about maybe 4 to 5 rebounds a game. Champagny, you know, like they all chip in and get those rebounds. Dylan Harper, I forgot about him. Now Carter Bryant's finally getting some playing time. You know, he's out there getting, 3 to 4 rebounds because it's so spread out in terms of shared in terms of the rebounds. I think it's not necessarily one person's role, like they all kind of chip in with it. So I think that's why he doesn't necessarily get 15, 16 rebounds a game, but he usually somewhere between 11 and 12. You know what I mean? I bet on rebounds. So that's
yeah. I mean, he's still averaging a double-double. I think he's averaging something like 24 and 11. This is great.
Yeah, something
with
like that.
3 or 4 blocks. I mean, don't get me wrong. Wemby is great. I think he's the next best thing. But right now, I don't.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to say that somebody until it happens. Like the Joker is the Joker. Like I don't see nobody else in the league that's on his level.
I
As
like him.
far
I
as
just don't think he's
basketball
the best
goes.
player.
Who you think is the best
Who do
player
I
in the
think is the
league?
best player? Who do I think is the best player? I gotta think about that honestly. There are a lot of players that I like that I'm a fan of. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. But when I think of the best out of everybody,
Right.
I gotta think about that some more, man. I don't even have an answer right now. I don't want to make up nothing. I gotta think about it.
I just think you don't want to say the Joker. He's the only one that pops out.
I think
just look at the numbers.
His stats pop out, but I also watch the games as well. So
To me, I mean,
stats don't tell the full story.
He's the best. He's my favorite player to watch.
I know we live he's watch. No, not for me because I think he's boring to watch.
Oh no, he's amazing. It's amazing. Like what he does on the court is, I'm like, it's so like Kobe Bryant-esque when it comes to cerebral, like his cerebral game, along with the fact that he just punishes people. He put that big body on you.
But yeah, I mean, him putting his body on somebody who's like, he's 7'2".
No, I mean, he's gonna go against another
Ant-Man is 6'3". Like, yeah,
but Ant-Man is not guarding him. If a team puts a small guy on the Joker, they're just.
I just as an example. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they don't want to win. They don't want to win.
He has the advantage. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, but he's having the advantage against. He's having the advantage against Nas Reed and Gobert. Or the Clippers used to have a big man who they Zubac. Like, yeah, he's killing your big man. He's not killing your guards because you put a guard on him. You're not even trying to win. But so you're gonna put another 7-footer on him. But the 7-footer you put on him is just not good enough because he can take your 7-footer outside. He can drive the ball to the basket. He can just get it in the post. He's gonna demolish your big man.
And also, the foul baiting too. I don't like the foul baiting. That irritates me.
He's not in the foul baiting. He's not a big foul baiter. He definitely be
throwing his arm sometimes.
I mean, he's getting fouled. I mean, he gets fouled because he's unstoppable. But he's not Jalen Brunson and SGA when it comes to Austin Reeves and Luka. He don't do that.
As bad as them. No.
Yeah, he don't do that. That's why he don't shoot. That's why he doesn't shoot a lot of free throws every game. He would be leading the league in free throws.
He's not as bad as I think SGA and Jalen Brunson and Luka like.
Oh, they're on a whole nother level. Right. Austin Reeves, I can't stand. I mean, I like Austin Reeves, but the stuff he be doing and the calls he be getting, I'm just like, this is why he scored 40 points when Luka's not playing. I'm like, there's no way Austin Reeves should be scoring 40 points. Not like Austin Reeves. I respect him.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, they could use him in Detroit.
All right, make the
alongside
trade. Trade
it's
all
alongside Kate Cunningham.
right.
Now,
You got to
I don't
give
know who they're
something
gonna.
up.
Yeah, I don't know who they're gonna give it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I have to think about that. I'm just thinking about in terms of the offense. That's all. You know what I mean, and the playmaking
Right,
as well.
right.
Because he can do both. And, you know, he could do some rebounds in there. He's better than
Yeah,
Duncan
yeah.
Robinson, that's for sure.
No, yeah. He's
I'll
better
let
than
you
Duncan
guys.
Robinson. I would agree.
All right, you guys. I'll move on. So we've been on here for a little minute already. All right, you guys. We'll move on to the NFL because Mad Max is headed out to Baltimore when they can make it official. Hasn't made it official just yet, but that is where they're headed with it. So, I said this a while ago. I think I told you I was like, he needs to be up out of there. Go compete, and get your championship if you can. Give it a contender. And I don't know if it was his idea, it was the team combination of both. But the fact of the matter is, he's headed out. He's going to the Ravens. With that being said, and why did the Ravens get rid of Likely? I'm like, what are y'all doing? Never mind. But
I
nevertheless,
can't pay him.
you know, now you got Mad Max in that division. You got Miles Garrett. You got T.J. Watt. I really feel sorry for one Joe Burrow. I really do. Because that old line, they can't protect him now. They can't, I just imagine like Joe is gonna be just on a swivel next season, man. I'm not even sure what he's gonna do. So I'm gonna say some prayers right now going into the season. But do you think moving the conversation forward though? With this being said, new coach, new OC, with the addition of Max Crosby, is this the year that like Lamar he has to get to Super Bowl? Like he has to get there, not necessarily even win one, but he has to get there to the Super Bowl.
Right. Well,
Assuming that he's healthy.
regardless of whether they got Max Crosby or not, I mean, I think we was at a point where Lamar Jackson has to win a Super Bowl.
Or at least get there.
The truth of the matter is, and I love Max Crosby and Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt and all these guys, but in the history of the game, pass rushers don't determine whether or not you're going to go to the Super Bowl or not. There's a few guys who have been elite pass rushers who's helped their team get to a championship and win a championship. But for the most part, it's about the totality of talent that you have on your front line, those front four guys, particularly your defensive tackles. Those guys are very important. So you can rush the passer, that's all good, but it's not going to determine whether or not you're going to go to a Super Bowl. I mean, if that was the case, then Dallas Cowboys would have went to several when they had Michael Parsons.
Well, no, of course, it's not like it's just one piece specifically is gonna like just do everything for.
But it's a good piece,
But yeah,
it's a great matter of fact. It's a great piece. 28 years old. It's a great piece for the Ravens. It's gonna help their defense tremendously because they have Pro Bowl players at the linebacker position. At the back end with Kyle Hamilton, they got to shore up the cornerbacks. We got to see what they do with it because I don't know what they're gonna do with Humphreys and Wiggins and those guys, but they got to shore that up. But Max Crosby is a great player to have in that position. Now, like you said, Joe Burrow got to face all those three guys, but guess what? Lamar has to face T.J. Watt. Lamar has to face Myles Garrett. And when Cincinnati had Trey Hendrickson, he had to face Trey Hendrickson too. So this ain't nothing new that any quarterback in that division has to face. All the quarterbacks in that division have to face some of the best pass rushers in the game.
The difference is that Lamar had a better O-line. He has a better O-line. Now, this obviously the season hasn't begun yet. There's still a lot more moves that are going to be made, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully they get Joe Burrow some help. But that O-line they don't protect him the best. And the defense is what the defense is, at least right now. So it's a little bit different for him than it is for Lamar.
I can't. Hey, I'm with Ja'Marr Chase. 9 got to be better. We ain't making no more excuses for 9. The offensive line wasn't that terrible because Joe Flacco excelled with that same offensive line. He was throwing 500 yards a game with that same offensive line. He's 40-something years old.
He still threw that ball.
But
now.
Joe
Let's
Burrow
not be
played
confused.
terrible down the stretch last year. He cost his team the
Yeah,
real
I think
shot.
I think he was out of it. I think he was just like, I'm over it this
So
year.
you can't be out
I
of
could
it.
be wrong. That's just the way he looked.
He might have been out of it, but you can't be out of it. I'm sorry. Your team is counting on you to not be out of it. They're paying you a whole lot.
They weren't going nowhere by the time he got back.
Paying you a whole lot of money to not be out of it. So it is what it is. But
they
Joe
weren't going by
Burrow's,
the time he got back. Their season was done when he got back.
I mean, they would have won out, But you're, for the most part, you're correct. My whole point is, I agree with his wide receiver and best player on the team, Jamar Chase. No excuses for 9. 9 has to be better. And that's just the bottom line. 9 has to be better. Matter of fact, they just re-signed one of their offensive linemen, gave him big money because he did play well. So Cincinnati, they got everybody in that division got problems. I believe that Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in that division. I believe that the Baltimore Ravens have a couple more pieces that they need to put in place. I believe he needs another wide receiver to go with Zay Flowers. I believe he needs another offensive lineman to help shore up that front. And you got Derrick Henry, and now on the other end, you just got Max Crosby. Yes, I believe is win or bust. You got a Super Bowl or bust. That's what it is for Lamar Jackson. If you don't win a Super Bowl this year, just understand the criticism that you're going to face going forward. They're going to say you can't get it done. That's what's going to be the word on the street. You can't get it done.
And that's what's so unfortunate because, this is a team sport. It's not, I know we always give the QBs all the credit, when they win and, the lion's share of the blame, so to speak. But this is not a one person thing. All parts have to buy in. Your coaching, using the timeouts, your challenges, all these different things, like a wrong call or, deciding to go for the fourth down as opposed to just kicking your field goal. Like so many things can, alter, the outcome of a game. For me, I personally want to see Lamar be the same Lamar we see in the regular season in the playoff game. I want to see the same player that we always see that we know is super, super talented play the same way and it's at the same level when the playoffs roll around. Because I feel like whenever playoffs come, like there's a drop off. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't play up to the same standard that we know that he can play. So for me, I would love to see that. And I think if we do see that, and hopefully Derrick Henry don't fumble the ball, nothing crazy happens. You know what I mean? Then they should get pretty far. But like I said, every season is different. Injuries always happen. Like Lamar was hurt. God forbid next season Derrick Henry, knock on wood. If he gets injured or Max or somebody gets injured, anything can happen. So you never know. It's always going to be one or two teams that we don't see coming. Also, they're going to pop up in there. So I look forward to see what's going to happen. But right now, I think their off season looks to be really, really good.
They look good on paper.
Yeah,
look good on paper.
Yeah. They're doing they're lining things up and they're trending in the right direction. So
the game ain't played on paper though. It played on grass or turf.
Well, right now it's the off season, so you got to make your moves first, and then once you do that, then you do everything else. I'm just judging this part of it right now.
But I got to look at. I have to look at the last 7-8 years of Lamar, and the thing about it is, when you play the style of football that he plays, those hits, and this is for his career, how it's been going, those hits, they add up. And towards the end of the season, he starts to tail off. That's why when it comes to playoff time, you don't see the same Lamar that you saw in week 3 or week 4 playing the playoff because he's ailing. He's not 100%. He's playing at 80%, 85, 75%. He's hurt. And last year was the biggest season he had because he didn't play well when he came back from injury.
I don't think he was healthy when he came back. I was like, he's not healthy. I mean, he's just out there, trying to make sure they don't lose or win games, but he wasn't
right. It's a problem that you have with a lot of running quarterbacks. You had the same problem with Kyler Murray. He started the middle of the season on. He started to tail off because when you're running, those hits add up. You're running all the time. Your legs, you put miles on your legs. So at the end of the day, you have to be proficient out of the pocket. You can run, that's cool. They add an extra dynamic to the game, but you still have to be proficient from the pocket. And Lamar Jackson is going to have to figure out a way to, maybe in the early part of the season he plays more out of the pocket. Towards the end of the season, he can, when it's time, that he can go ahead and use his legs and be the dynamic player that we know he can be. But don't get into a position where come week 12, now you got your hamstring tight and all this. Because guess what? Nobody's gonna give you an excuse because you pulled your hamstring in week 13. Can you still throw the ball?
If he pulls it, he's not playing. Then we can't.
Right, I'm saying like last year, like you said, he wasn't 100%, but he came back and played. Well, guess what, Lamar?
He did.
We're not giving you an excuse because you weren't 100%. If you get out on that field, that's all we know is you got on that field and you said you can play. If you can't play, don't play. Let Tyler Huntley come in. He played very well in your absence. He was winning football games.
It's not that simple though. Like, like these players, the Joe Burrows, the Joshes, the Patrick Mahomes, and the ones who are, on a higher upper echelon of QBs.
Right.
They get paid a lot. So expectation is, even if you're not 100% healthy, then you're still going to be out there. So more times than not, they go out there. You know what I mean? Even if they're not 100% healthy, and the expectation is, you got to win.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're not 100% healthy, that does factor in how you play. You know what I mean? If they don't play, then the conversation is, oh well, he's not dedicated enough, or he doesn't care enough, or all these different things. But if you go out there and you play like shit, and it's like, oh well, what's going on with Lamar? Like he's fumbling the ball. What happened to Josh? He's throwing picks. But it's like, well, his arm is freaking, his wrist is broken. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you can't have it both ways. I always, if a player's not 100% healthy or it's hindering your game too much, then put your backup quarterback in if you have one that's capable.
Yes.
But don't go out there, you know what I mean? If you know that you can't really throw the ball the way you are used to throwing it, if your hamstring feels like it's about to pop any, right now, like I'd rather you sit on the sideline. But the expectation is that you're the great Lamar Jackson. You got to get in there. I feel like we have to pick one. We can't expect them to get out there and be like hobbling on one foot, so to speak, but they expect you to lead your team to a win when you're playing on one foot. Like, it's not realistic.
Part of being a great athlete is your ability to be available and your ability to stay healthy. LeBron James is probably the greatest basketball player because he's kept his body in
let's
shape.
Not get into it.
I'm not even talking about the GOAT. I'm not talking about the GOAT. You got to hear me out before you get to that point. My point is he's arguably, he's arguably the best basketball player because his ability to stay healthy for all the years that he's played. Well, a guy like Grant Hill, who had just as much skill as LeBron, if not more skill than LeBron, he's not even considered up in that because he never could stay healthy. You look at guys like Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy could have been one of the best guards to ever play basketball in Portland, but he couldn't stay healthy. So sometimes it's going to come down to the best athletes are the ones who are actually able to stay healthy and keep playing. Michael Jordan played 82 games, 8 seasons. That's why he was able to put up the numbers he was able to put up and be considered in the GOAT conversation. Kobe Bryant would play games hurt, pinky taped up, the knee brace on. It didn't matter. Kobe Bryant wasn't sitting out. That's what it takes to be a great athlete. And if you can't do it, that's fine. But understand that there's levels to this. And you're going to have to be put where you're going to be put because Lamar Jackson isn't the first quarterback and he won't be the last quarterback that gets criticized for not taking his team to the big dance. Peyton Manning, as great as he was, before he won his first Super Bowl, can he get it done? He every playoff time come, he losing games. He can't win the big one. The lights are too bright for him. This is Peyton Manning we talking about. Arguably the greatest regular season quarterback in the history of the game. But until he won the Super Bowl, they said he couldn't do it. Aaron Rodgers, can he do it? Brett Favre did it. He's living in the shadow of Brett Favre. Steve Young, can he win? He's living in the shadows of Joe Montana. He got to go win the big one to get out of the shadow. Lamar Jackson is not the first quarterback, and he won't be the last quarterback that faced criticism when
No, no,
his
no, no.
team
I'm not
doesn't get it
saying he's
done.
not going to face criticism. I'm just saying we have to pick one. The media will chew him out for playing bad,
Yeah. It's
but in the
sports
same
entertainment.
breath, it's like you'll know that he's hurt. You
Right.
know that for example, let's say he fractured his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
A grade 3 or something. You know what I mean? In terms
Right.
of a bad sprain. There's levels to injuries. Some you
Yeah,
can play
yeah.
through. Some, it's ill advised for you to play through, but they still want to get out
Right.
there and still play through it. And sometimes you just can't play through it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Lamar was out there trying, you know what I mean, and I guess in his
Right.
defense, but you can clearly see he was not the same Lamar that we know that he can be. So I think they would have done better just put Malik out, not Malik, Tyler Huntley, excuse me,
I
to put
agree.
him out there, because Lamar was limited. But at the same time, because he's the face and you paying him all those
Yes.
millions, you're like, get your behind out there. But then when
Correct.
he's not playing up to the standard, then people are mad at him for not playing up to the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, people, we know that he's not healthy, so I let Tyler Huntley play, or he's gonna play hurt, and whatever happens, whatever happens. You know what I mean? But you can't expect him to play 100% if he's not in fact 100%. Now he can
I
shoot
agree.
himself up. He can shoot himself up if he wants to every single game and do that,
Hey,
wear a brace and everything else. But
I agree. You had people last year asking should the Cincinnati Bengals trade Joe Burrow?
yeah, that
And
was
it
a
was a
conversation.
legitimate question because if he can't stay healthy, what good is he? He's only good if he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
If he
I think they
can't
should
stay
draft
healthy,
somebody else just in case. I wouldn't get rid of him just yet,
right.
personally, but I would bring somebody else
Me
in.
either. I would hope that he can stay healthy. But if he
Yeah.
can't stay healthy, guess what? I'm sorry, you weren't the guy. If Lamar can't, and really with Lamar, yes, he wasn't 100% healthy, but it was his legs. Nothing was wrong with his arm.
Hmm.
I need you to beat. Can you? And this is the one of the criticisms that he's faced his whole career. Teams don't think Lamar Jackson can beat them with his arm. They only
Yeah.
think he can beat you with his legs. Well, prove them wrong. Beat teams with your arm. Now,
And
he should have beat
that's what happened
Pittsburgh.
to him a few
He
years
should have
ago.
beat Pittsburgh that last game. He should have beat Pittsburgh. He played a hell of a game. He was beating them with his arm. The field goal kicker missed the field goal. It is what it is. But I believe Lamar Jackson is good enough to beat teams with his arm, but he has to prove that he can do that when the stakes are the highest, and he hasn't been able to prove that just yet. So he's gonna get another crack at it, and if he doesn't get it done for whatever reason, he's gonna face criticism. That's just how this business goes, whether it's fair or unfair. Same thing with Josh Allen. He's gonna get the criticism if they don't win a Super Bowl this year.
I don't even want to talk about the Bills. We got one person, so we'll see what happens next. We're not lining up. Some teams are just making some nice moves. I'm just like, Bills, what we doing? Like we behind the 8 ball again. So
Well, they got somebody.
yeah, we have
got
somebody.
DJ Moore.
But
You got
the
DJ
teams are
Moore. That's good.
making moves, like multiple
Right.
moves,
Right.
to get their team together. We've done one thing. They're going to keep
Right.
Keon Coleman. They did say that, and hopefully,
Right.
he'll have a nice comeback, year, upcoming season. But like I said,
Yeah. Well, they trying to get their salary cap right. Maybe after they get the salary cap right, we can start talking about them.
yeah, Josh is, he's always, gonna his level of talent is gonna get you a ticket to the dance. Always, you're gonna get to the dance. Now once you get there, you know what I mean. Everybody else that's there is also talented, and they also have good teams around them, and they're well coached.
Right.
So it won't just be just off of the strength alone of the talent of Josh. It'll have to be other contributing factors that come into it as well. So,
right.
But what you said about Lamar before we move on real quick, you mentioned Lamar's arm. You said a few seasons ago, I think that's what happened when they ended up losing to the Chiefs. You had the whole first half, you were running the ball, and it was working. You were playing well. Then the second half, after halftime, I don't know what happened. You decided to stop running the ball and then just start being the pocket passer. And I'm just like, Lamar, like a coach, like why'd y'all switch it? Like to me, I think that's what gets the best of him in those big moments. And I could be wrong, but I feel like in those big moments, he feels like he has to prove to everybody, I can use my arm in the big moments. I don't have to, use my legs because I am talented in other ways. And I'm just like, dude, play your game. Play your game. If that's throwing, running, combination of both, do what you do and be the great action Jackson that we accustomed to seeing you be. Like, you don't have to necessarily prove people wrong. You're there. You prove them wrong when you win the game. Stop trying. You can't out Patrick Mahomes. Like, you're not as, like, you can't out throw Joe Burrow. Like, he's just really good at throwing the ball. That's just his strength. Now, in terms of his legs, he can't beat Lamar that way. You know what I mean? But with his
Right.
arm, he can. You know what I mean? Like, but that's his strength. Your strength is your legs. You know what I mean? So get out there and be the dual threat that you can be, and win. That's it. You know what I mean? And for me, I hope that he keeps that in mind when the playoffs roll around. I don't want to see you try to be somebody that you're not, man.
Yeah, I just think it's easier said than done. I mean, these NFL
Yeah,
players,
apparently, sure.
they don't play with the fatigue off. You know, like on Madden, you can turn the fatigue off and the guy never get hurt. But in real football, you have to
I'm talking about the
run.
mental aspect, not so much the physical. That, to me, that's
Right.
mental.
But I'm saying if he's running the whole first half and then now the second half comes and they teed off on you a couple times and you ran a lot and your legs are kind of getting weary on you, maybe you feel more comfortable passing the ball as opposed to trying to run because you just can't anymore. You gave it all you had in the first half. I don't know. I watched Mike Vick play in Atlanta and he would run the football, he would throw the football, but he ran a lot. But I would watch games, I would watch Mike Vick break. And I'm like, okay, go run a touchdown. And he would run out of bounds because he was either gassed or he pulled a hamstring, or, you know. So I like, you know, maybe it's not as easy as it appears to be that a guy can just run the whole game, you know.
No, I'm not saying you have like non-stop, but it just stopped running. Like, there was no running. It went from running to just like none. I was like, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to run at all anymore? Not even a little?
No, I agree with you. I've seen it too, and I've
Give us
had
a
my
very game. Let
frustrations.
him run. Like,
Right. I've been frustrated at Lamar too for not just being Superman and winning the game by any means and deciding that you're going to
any means necessary.
try to pass the ball and then you throw 2 interceptions and then it's like, okay,
And that's the thing,
it's
trying to
over with.
force it. You know, like trying to prove that you can use your arm. Now you throw into these little small windows. Interception, pick, you know, and there we go.
Right.
So, you know, Josh would do that sometimes too, trying to, you know, wait for somebody to get open. Okay, he's over there. I'm just throw it, hope he can catch it. Interception, you know what I mean? It's like, Josh, why'd you throw that? Just keep it, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, they're trying to win the game, you know, that hero ball, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, I was about to say, you guys, I'm gonna take one phone call today, you guys.
What?
One phone call today, you guys. It's our first time doing it, all right? Put it up here. Put the number up here, you guys.
Oh, that's dope.
Really quickly, well, I put the number up there. I don't know if you saw earlier. You probably did. I didn't miss you about it. Tua has been booted out for one Malik Willis.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I was happy for Malik. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of expected it. I expected Tua to be released. Now I expected Miami.
Yeah, I did that too. I didn't think it was Malik.
Right, there was a lot of speculation over the last couple of weeks that the Miami Dolphins were going to be a big player in the Malik Willis sweepstakes. So, you know, and they gave him prove it money. Come down here to Miami, you have an opportunity to prove that you are a starting quarterback in this league. And if you don't prove that you're a starting quarterback in this league, we paid you enough to where we can get rid of you, or you can be a solid backup in this league, and that's what you are. So I'm happy for Malik Willis to get the opportunity because he got drafted by Tennessee. Not too long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, whatever. And he was behind Tannehill, and he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Tannehill, and it didn't work out in Tennessee. And he went to Green Bay, and Matt LaFleur developed him and helped him with his game, and to the point where he is now. He got a raise, a well-deserved raise, and he's in Miami, and he's going to get an opportunity. Now the problem is, Miami just doesn't have a buttload of talent like that. I mean, Tyreek Hill is gone. You still got Jalen Waddle. You have some fast running backs back there, but you got a new head coach. I don't know the system that he's gonna run down there. We'll see how Miami is still Miami. Malik Willis has shown that he can play in the cold, so that's a positive thing for Miami. But can the other guys in Miami play in the cold? That's going to be determined. But he in
I
a
told
tough
you,
division,
take him to Antarctica, man. Take him to Antarctica for a week or two.
right? You're in a tough division. Okay, you're gonna beat the Jets twice. Okay, that's 2 wins, but you got to play New
Don't
England.
do that. Aaron Glenn is gonna find some talent this season, man. Right?
He ain't found until I see the Jets start to add some pieces and show me they got 10, like you said, Baltimore was doing on paper. And until I see the Jets actually started, who's the quarterback? I don't know. They don't have a
He said he's
quarterback.
a great play caller. I'm a trust in Aaron Glenn.
Okay, yeah. Who's your quarterback? Okay, well, once you figure that out and you figure out some other things, then
Russell Wilson's still available.
Once you figure out who's your quarterback and all those things, until then, Malik Willis can beat the Jets twice, but you still got to play New England twice and you got to play Buffalo twice. I just don't think I think he's at the best right now. He's the third best quarterback in that division, and one of those teams don't even have a quarterback right now. So I wish Malik Willis the best. I hope that he can prove that he is a starting quarterback in this league. In order to do that, you're going to have to beat New England and you're going to have to beat Buffalo. If you can do that, 2 years of that, you're going to get another raise.
All right, you guys. So last topic of the day. I'm still waiting for you guys to call in now. Don't be shy. Y'all was in the comments going crazy earlier now. Now's the time to call in and voice your opinion on one of the topics. Do not be shy because we can't see you. So it's all good. Like, we can't see you. Don't be afraid to hop on here and give us your live take. But I think I messaged you about this. I'm at it right now. We saw that Dak and his fiance, she called off the wedding.
Right.
After a joint, bachelorette party, and I wasn't sure if it was like real or speculation, but apparently this is real because they did send out a message, to their guests. The wedding was supposed to take place next month, I believe, in Italy, and they sent out, a message. As many of you know, our wedding is currently scheduled to take place in Lake Como, Italy, on Friday, April 10th, 2026. Is with heavy hearts that we privately inform our attendees that we have made the very difficult decision to cancel our wedding. We deeply apologize for any inconvenience this may cause you, and we welcome your prayers. The message was obtained, of course, by TMZ. I want to ask you. All right, so they called it quits. A lot of the conversation said it was around the prenup. They have supposedly they were, I guess, going back and forth about it for a while now. When I guess things came to a head after this joint bachelorette party. Do you think our prenups are non-negotiable? If you're Dak Prescott, because she walked away. I don't know what he asked her, to sign, or what he was willing to give her if they did, get divorced. But she walked away from whatever it was, and I guess she said, "No, I'm good." What do you think about the prenup situation? What do you think about prenups? Are you a prenup?
I don't know prenup. I don't know if, like, his situation, it's speculated it could be prenups. It could not be, but if we let's just say it is a prenup situation. I understand Dak and where he's coming from, but me myself, the way I look at it is this. I look at I'm sort of a hopeless romantic, sort of. Yeah,
really?
Really, like I'm delusional when it comes to love. I believe that if a man loves a woman and a woman loves a man, then they should be able to be married, and there should be no need for a prenup because they're never gonna get divorced. They're gonna be together forever because they made a vow to the Most High and to themselves, and this is what their vows say they're gonna be together to death do them part. Now that's me being delusional. The truth of the matter is the way it's set up in this capitalistic society, this Western civilization is you got to protect yourself at all times. And if she can't understand that I don't know, Tina Turner said it best. What love got to do with it? He got all this new money. Now don't get me wrong, they have 2 children together, I was reading.
They do. They have 2
So
daughters.
I mean, it really shouldn't have been a deal breaker because you still gotta pay the child support for the 2 kids if she decide to get reckless and put you on child support. Now she might respect that. And if she respect that, then she might not put him on child support because she know he gonna take care of the kids anyway. But I don't know. It's a situation. I think to each their own. I would like to think if 2 people love each other, there's no need for a prenup. But at the end of the day, the way things are, the way the divorce rate is high, and the way a lot of men when they get married, they risk their whole life. So I understand it's a tough decision, especially if you're a man of means. It's tough to get married without the prenup because you're taking such a huge risk. You putting your whole life on the line behind this woman, and it's not necessarily the same way on the other end. So, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at him. I just, if this is true, just sign the prenup. Y'all gonna be together. Then the prenup is just a worthless piece of paper. If you don't leave him and he don't leave you and y'all stay together to death do you part, then that prenup is just a worthless piece of paper that y'all can throw away and burn and put in the trash. It shouldn't be that big of a deal.
For me, it's a big deal. So I feel like at this point, when you are one of a 1% man or 1% woman, you know what I mean? Be mindful of who you having kids and stuff with. Like, I feel like we have to start having conversations about important things before we start creating families, because that will negate, in my opinion, these kind of uncomfortable conversations or these breakups when things kind of hit a rough patch because we didn't talk about it before. You know what I mean? Do you want to get married before you have kids with somebody? Because now you're like, well, I have 2 kids with you. I got 3 kids with you. You don't want to get married? No, I really don't want to get married. I mean, I'm fine with things the way they are. Well, I'm not, you know? How do you want to raise your kids? Do you want to raise them, in a church? Or are you someone who's anti-church? You know what I mean? Education. Are you more of a homeschool? I want my kids to be homeschooled, wife at home, being traditional, wife, or you want someone who's a working wife. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes those conversations are not had prior. And then once kids are here and finance has been merged and shared bank accounts and whatnot, then it's like, wait, you don't want what I want? She was the one that walked away, so I don't necessarily know what was the conversation, because a prenup, is just a piece of paper. Whatever you both agree to is whatever it's in there, and you sign it. I don't mind a prenup. I do feel like you should protect yourself, especially if you have a lot of money that you earned before you met someone. I totally get that, but if I have 2 kids with you, I want to make sure that my ass is covered. If you cheat, if you do certain things, and it doesn't work out, and it's because of you, then I want to make sure that I'm set up, and I'm able to take care of the kids and maintain, a certain lifestyle that they've gotten accustomed to through being married and being with you all these years. Because if they're 10 years old, 10 and 8, because they got 2 daughters, I'm throwing a random number out there, and they're used to being in a nice big house or ranch or whatever it is, they shouldn't have to go to a 2-bedroom because we didn't work out. They should still be able to have a nice house. It doesn't have to be a ranch, so to speak, but it should still be able to be a nice house and still maintain a certain living style that doesn't necessarily affect them, or whatever have you. If you wanted me to be, I don't know what their arrangement is, but if he wanted her, for example, to be a stay-at-home mom, you know what I mean? Is she covered in that prenup with that? You know what I mean? In case something happens, because if you didn't want her to work all these years and now you guys break up, you can't expect to just go out there and just get a job just like that, especially one that covers a certain amount of bills in this economy. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the negotiation was. If this is even true, you know what I mean? It could have been because maybe something happened at the actual bachelor or bachelorette party. You know what I mean? Maybe something got too crazy, and she's like, "Wait, hold on, like what you doing with that stripper?" Like it could have been one of those things, but maybe a private room situation that went too far. I don't know, but something obviously happened, and maybe they'll figure it out, because they called the wedding off, but I don't know if they officially broke it off altogether. I feel like they're gonna work this with you, and I hope they do with 2
They'll
kids.
probably figure it out.
Yeah.
They'll probably figure
I
it
just
out.
really feel like a lot of times we don't have conversations. We get married, we rush into things, and then the first sign of trouble is why everybody's getting divorced right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause don't nobody really believe in what they're signing up for.
Exactly.
Which is why I just don't even. I don't put no stock in. I don't put a lot of stock in people. A lot of people say a lot of things and they make vows to the Most High and God, and they talk about God and all this. And I love God. Okay, then why you lying? Like if you're lying to the Most High, you're a lot of God. If you're a lot of you, I'm gonna trust you. You're a lot of anybody. Like so, no, I don't put any stock in people. You know, definitely people who want to lead with that is make it sound so good. It's not true. You know, look, and all that you said was all that sound good, but the truth of the matter is, if a man and a woman find each other and they're attracted to each other and they want to hit, they gonna hit, and that's regardless of they married, and that's regardless if they're married or not. And every time you hit, you got an opportunity to have a child in that situation.
Be responsible. You know what I mean? There's things around it. You know?
You can try to be as responsible as you want. I once got a girl pregnant with a rubber on. It happens. For me, the only way to be 100% sure of not to have pregnant to have a child is to not have sex.
But the truth of the matter is, more times than not, people are not trying to protect themselves. You know, there's an attraction. You know what I mean? They go off, they do what they do, whatever have you.
Right.
One time, two times, a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
And while this is going on, no one's really thinking about the outcome of creating life. And then when it happens, we're sitting there like, oh, like he's crazy, she's crazy. Well, yeah, he was crazy, but like the crazy was always there. You know what I mean? If you would have taken a step back to get to know him or her, you would have seen it as opposed to rushing into the bedroom.
Right. Crackheads don't think about they might have to steal the TV in another week or so.
We can use a crackhead because they're like,
I'm using it. People don't be sex is a drug for a lot of people. It's the addiction of that feeling of that sex that a lot of people are not thinking the way they probably should be thinking because they're ready for that next hit. That next hit puts all other things out of perspective. It's an addiction.
Unless you have a sex addiction, I'm not going to give you the same.
Most people have a sex addiction.
The same conversation as somebody who
it's no different than a food addiction. Crackhead and a food person. If an addiction is anything that you do that even though you know it's a detriment to you and your life, you're still willing to do it because you can't stop doing it.
Most people
once you have sex,
it's to like a drug. They're just making bad.
Sex is addictive. I told my homegirl. I had a homegirl in college. She was a virgin, and she used to ask me. She was like, "What does sex feel like?" And I said, "It's great." I said, "Once you have sex, you're gonna always want to do it all the time. You're not gonna stop." No, I'm not. Okay. She had sex. She called me up. She said, "You know what?" She said, "You were right." Of course I'm right. I'm not. I'm telling you, like that's in like. If you had sex once, you're not just gonna stop. You're gonna keep having sex. Now you might stop for a month or 2, 3 months, a year, but you're not gonna stop having sex once you bit that apple. Yeah, but what's responsible? Only responsible sex. The only responsible sex, and this is according to what you just told me. The only responsible sex is sex after marriage. If you're not married, then you're rolling the dice.
Well, I mean, look, getting married also, you know what I mean, is a part of it. Like, don't just get married for the sake of getting married. Know who you're marrying. Like, know who you are, opening yourself up to. You know what I mean? Like, especially as this person, you can get married. People get married all the time, you know what I mean, who shouldn't be married. You know, like, and I can appreciate you wanting to, I guess, to do the right thing, so to speak. But sometimes, like, you should marry this person. You don't get along as a couple already. You're always arguing. You know what I mean? Like,
so why you think they married?
Like,
why do you think so many people? Why do you think so many people get married and it's the quote unquote wrong person? Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of people are more. I'm speaking from the women's side, but I'm not saying about men. I think some men, they may love who they're with. They want to make that person happy. So, okay, I'll marry you. Some men are in love. But I feel like for women, I'm speaking for the women's side of it, a lot of times I think more women are in love with the idea of marriage.
Correct.
You know what I mean? This it's going to be awesome. It's going to be, this happy, loving, sex-filled, supportive relationship. We're going to raise our kids like this. And we're going to do this. And we're going to be this power couple or not, or whatever it is. We're going to travel and so on and so forth. And then you have this grand idea, what you see on Instagram, flowers every day and all these different things. A man coming home cooking for you and whatnot, running your bathwater, so to speak. And then when it's not what you envision it to be, you're like, wait, this is not what I thought a marriage was supposed to look like. On Instagram, the girls got the flowers every day. They got the husbands are buying them a push gift, all these different things, and you're like, this is not what I'm getting here. So, I think that's the biggest part of it. People are more, they're more in tune or more excited for the idea, the pretty dress walking down the aisle, the wedding,
Right.
the
fantasy.
food. Yeah, exactly. The fantasy is
Right.
where I'm looking for. Thank you. And then it's not real. Once you're married, you say your I do's in the honeymoon, you go to Italy, whatever it is, and you're done with that. And then real life sets in. You got work, you got bills, communication. A lot of times is people can't communicate. They don't know how to communicate. Some people shut down. They don't want to talk at all. So they don't want to stop talking. They want to throw things. So they get angry. Like, so many different things go into it. And I feel like a lot of times people don't necessarily, also they don't want to fight for marriages. You know what I mean? Something happens, somebody gets sick, or somebody lose their job. You're like, okay,
or somebody cheat.
You
ready to run?
If it was with my sister, so to speak, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm done with her. I'm done with you. You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying, though.
A lot of men, do love the women. That's why they get married. Cause like I said, you gotta sacrifice a lot. But a lot of men marry women because they don't want no other man to mess with her. No, they want to take her off the market, so to say. Not necessarily he's willing to change his life. He just don't want her to be on the market anymore. But I would say this, and shout out to, all the great wives that I've known in my life. Like, being a wife is hard work. It's not a fantasy. Like, it's a lot of work that's involved in being a wife. And the women that I know who are these great wives, to death do them part, they were groomed to be wives. They were raised to be wives. So even though I look at it, I be like, man, she put a lot of work in for her husband. She's like, you talk to her, she wouldn't have it no other way. This is how that was her fantasy. Her fantasy was, can I be a great wife? Can I tend to my husband, respect him, allow him to lead, blase? Can I forgive him? Because he's not going to be perfect. He's going to be flawed. Am I willing to really go do, what are the morals that I have? Who am I as a person? Like, so it's hard work. And a lot of these women think it's easy, that you're getting married, you're having a partner. It's not a partnership. And then as long as they keep looking for a partnership, they'll never be in a situation where they have a husband and they are a wife. You got to be groomed for this. You got to be raised. You got to understand what it takes to be a wife. And unfortunately, because of where we're at in society, and now definitely in the Black community, we've lost sight of, we don't know what being a family is all about, and being a wife and being a husband, and all that's gone. All that's gone. So you just gotta do the best you can and pray on it. And maybe you get married once and then you get divorced, and maybe you can get married twice and then you get divorced, and maybe you get married 3 times. I don't know. I just look at it as a bunch of boyfriend and girlfriend.
I don't think you necessarily be raised to be a wife, because there are a lot of people who are married who didn't necessarily have the best examples of a healthy relationship growing up, and they've turned out to be great women, great wives, good husbands, great mothers, but necessarily have a dad to show them how to be a dad. I think it's all about are you willing to learn? You know what I mean? Because I think it's like being a parent. You know what I mean? There's no like rule book, I don't think, necessarily about this is how you should be as a husband, this is how you should be as a wife. I think certain things are like communication, respect, love, you know what I mean? Like certain things like a foundation, but other stuff that I think you kind of learn on the job, so to speak. You know what I mean? How to share your space. You know what I mean? You used to living by yourself, now you're living with somebody else day in and day out. You know what I mean? Cooking for yourself, now you got to cook for 2 people, or dealing with his family a little bit more closely than what you did before you guys got together and got married. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into it. I think it's just, are you both willing to do the work? Are you both willing to get counseling if you need to? You know what I mean? Like, some people don't want to go to counseling. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to work it out. They don't want to work through stuff. You know what I mean? You got to put in the work, because marriage, from what I hear, is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. I think we're in a new time, so you might be right. I've never been married. I'm not married, so I don't know. I only can go off the people that I do know that are married and that have been married for 20, 30, 40 plus years. And
different generation.
Yeah. And even like right now, my best friend, his marriage, he's been married for 20 years.
Good for him.
The greatest wife in the world. I can't even one of my flaws is I compare every woman to her, because I know how good of a wife she is to him. You know what I'm saying? So you can't get on that level, but she was raised. But she was raised that way. I know her parents. I know her mother and her father. And they another couple been together for 30, 40 years. All the people that I know,
great example.
All the people that I know who have been married for a long time and really do the marriage thing the right way, they all have the same characteristics, and so that's just what I go off. I don't know anything about, maybe they can figure it out on the fly. Maybe they can go to therapy. I'm pretty sure some marriages that are working out just fine, and she wasn't raised to be a wife, and he came out of the situation. I'm pretty sure they're also second number. I don't know any. The ones I know are all very similar in how the marriage came together. And all those men in that situation, they're very fortunate and to be able to find that woman who was a wife before he met her. She was already wife material.
And let's talk. Are you also a husband? You know what I mean? There's a lot of conversations about a woman. Is she this? Is she a mother? Is she that? Are you a husband? Do you know how to
see? That's the whole thing about it.
Do you know how to lead a house?
They're just men.
You know what I mean? Well, she's a woman. You know what I mean? It goes hand in hand. Like you can be a man, but are you a husband? Two different things.
No man can be great without that great woman right beside him. That wife makes him a husband. She motivates him. She motivates him to do. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what the ones I experienced. I don't know about. I'm pretty sure for the sake of numbers, there are other.
I give everybody accountability.
Right. For the sake of numbers, you might be right. I'm not trying to get into what I don't know. I'm trying to tell you based off my experience of where I've been around. Is all the same. It's nothing different. I mean, they're different people, but the situations are all the same. I mean, I look at my homeboy Wood, and shout out to Wood if he watching. I know where he come from. I've been knowing him for over 20 years, down to 30 years. I know where he come from. And the best thing that ever happened to him was his wife. She changed his life. She made him a husband. And no, don't get me wrong. Even when we was in college, he always was like, "Man, I want to get married. I want to find a wife."
There we go. That. Again, you have to also want to.
Yeah, so that's the thing about he always wanted to be a husband, even though we was in the streets and we doing this and that. But his wife made him into the great husband that he turned out to be, the great father. She had to put in some work. Like he was, you talking about rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Now, but she stuck it out. She didn't leave. She stayed. She had to deal with some things. He had to get better at some things. He had some flaws. But at the end of the day, man, that's like my sister. Like I love her. Like that's like my family. Like, but that's how she was raised to be, and so it worked out. And all the other marriages, these guys were just guys. I mean, most guys are capable of being a husband if
being
they
a good husband. There's a difference.
I mean, as long as you stay in your marriage for 20, 30, 40 years, that means you had to be, and you raised your kids and you took care of the household.
That don't mean you a good husband.
And you protected your family. Like, there's no such thing as a good or bad. When you start saying somebody is good or somebody is bad, you're judging them. Judge not.
You're judging women in this conversation as well. You know what I mean? You're saying women have to be raised to be a wife. That's a judgment.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that she's a good woman or a bad.
No, they don't have
I mean, you can be a bad woman and be a great wife.
Husband, not necessarily be a good husband. You know what I mean? Are you taking care of your family? Are you providing for your family? Are you honoring your vows? Are you respectful? You know, there's a lot. It's not just yes, I'm a man. I married
I mean,
you.
I feel where you
Let's
coming
come
from,
home.
but I'm not.
That's it. There's
I'm coming from just
respect.
I'm only speaking of my experience around people who have had successful marriages for 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know about all that other stuff that sound good on TV. I'm only going off my experience around people who have
Mm-hmm.
had successful marriages. I've
Mm-hmm.
known people who haven't had successful marriages, but I see why they didn't have successful marriages. So I'm only going off the men and the women that I know personally who have
Yeah, that's
successful
fine. If you're
marriages.
speaking about people that you,
Right.
but it's judgmental. If you're saying what I'm
And
saying
it's
is
all the
judgmental,
same.
so is that. You know what I mean? Like
But
to say
I
something
wouldn't say any of them are good
that's like
people or
saying
bad people.
you gotta be raised to be a mom. You know what I mean, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like
No, you
some
don't.
women
All you gotta do is have a baby and you'll be a mom.
that doesn't make you a mother. Doesn't make you a mother.
Well, see, then
That
I
means
don't
you
know
gave
what we talk.
birth.
We talking different
It doesn't
languages
make you
because
a mother. A
if
mother
you
is someone who is not just gives birth to a child, because dogs can give birth to a child. Monkeys, horses, all
yeah,
these
they
different things.
mothers.
You know
They're
what I mean?
monkey
That's not a
mothers, they're
mother.
dog
A
mothers,
mother is someone
they're
who is
cat
raising their
mothers.
child. Are you raising your child? Do you provide for your child? Are you instilling right from wrong in your child? Are you cooking for your child? Are you nurturing them? Are you putting them in school? Are you putting them in the best positions to succeed in life? Are you taking them doctor's appointments? Are you providing for them? Or are you guiding them in life? Like all those things go into being a mother, not just getting pregnant and giving birth. A man can get someone pregnant, doesn't mean he's a father. Are you present as a dad? Are you helping to raise your son to be a good man in
Yeah, see,
society?
I don't
All
get
those things
into
go into being
yeah,
a good parent, not
yeah.
necessarily
I
sending
mean, I feel
money
where you coming
on
from.
Friday, so to speak.
I feel where you coming from, but I don't get into like to me that's TV stuff. That's program. I don't get into
No,
that.
that's not TV at all.
I get into human.
That's not TV.
I'm only
That's not.
dealing
I
with
don't know if
human
you watch
nature.
it.
If a man and a woman hit and they have a baby, then guess what? She's the mother and he's the father.
Biologically, absolutely,
If
yes,
they stay
yeah.
together or not, I don't know. Sometimes the man might take the baby, and sometimes the woman might take the baby. It don't matter. That child still has a mother and a father, or
Of
else that
course,
baby
I'm not
wouldn't have
talking
been
about from
born.
a scientific standpoint of
Right,
biology. Yes, from a biological
right,
standpoint, if you get pregnant and give birth biologically,
right.
one mom. But for example, you have people who give birth and they might get a child for adoption. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes that child will feel like you're not my mother. This person
That
is the
child
one
can
who
feel
raised
how
me.
you want to
You know
feel.
what I mean? That this person is the one who raised me. They were there
Right,
night in and night out. They were the ones who took me to school. When I fell down, put a band-aid on it, read books to me at night, cooked me dinner. That's who my mom is. You're a
right. I feel
stranger, I
that.
don't know you. You know what I mean? So from their perspective, you know what I mean? That's how they see it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I said, giving birth to a child doesn't necessarily make you a mother.
There are some
It's
boys who
a
feel
whole
like they
conversation.
girls, and there are some girls
You know
that
what I mean?
feel like they boys. It don't make you a boy. It don't make you a girl. I don't care if your mama gave you up
That's
for
a whole other
adoption. She's
conversation.
still your
That's another
mama.
conversation.
Same thing. You talking about what people
It's
feel.
not
I
the same
don't
thing. It's not
care
the
what
same
people
thing.
feel
And I
like.
think it depends on how you were raised. I had a wonderful mom. So for some people who
Yeah,
didn't necessarily have a good
I have a
upbringing,
wonderful
they
mom.
might
She's a
feel differently.
mom.
You know what I mean? But
My
there's levels
my
to it.
dad never was in my life too much. He's still my dad.
Biologically he is, yep.
Yeah, that's all that counts. That's all that matters to me.
To you. There we go.
If the Most High didn't pick him and he didn't pick her, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to be great without him and without her. The Most High picked that. And some people say, well, God don't make mistakes. Well, if God don't make no mistakes, then he was perfect in picking your mother and your father. And as the Bible says, honor thy mother and thy father. It don't matter about all that other crap. All that don't matter.
I don't think it's crap at all.
Unless we're not going off
I don't
what
think
we
it's
was
crap.
right. I mean, now we're not going off, divine wisdom. Then that's a whole nother
I don't
thing. We
know. I
just
don't know
going
what
off.
divine wisdom we talking
I'm
about. To
just
me, it's
saying.
just logical and it's just common sense. If you give birth to someone, yes, you are biologically a mother.
Yes.
If you impregnate someone, yes, biologically you are my dad.
Father.
Now,
Yes.
if my mom gives birth to me and I don't see her for the next 25 years, and
Right.
my aunt raises me, I'm gonna look at her as my mother figure. Now, is
Yes.
she biologically my mother? No.
Right.
Biologically, you are. You carried me, you
Correct.
gave birth to me. I haven't seen you in 10, 15
Correct.
years. So I'm not going to call you a mother, but you did give birth to me. So biologically, yes, you are. But to me, like I said, you can be someone's wife. You know what I mean? Are you doing wifely things? Are you cooking for your husband? Are you making him a better man? Are you only just a lot that goes into like a marriage? You know what I mean? You can be married on paper,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But in the marriage, how is it going? There's like levels and things to it. I'm just into just being married by a sheet of paper. Like I mean, I don't know. So like yeah, you can have a father. Yes, you have dad who does someone your mom or your dad to man woman come together create a baby. Is your dad around? You know what I mean? Do you know your dad? And I've had people at work who didn't know their moms, didn't know their dad. You know what I mean? I never met him. He left when I was younger. She abandoned me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen her since I was 4 years old. You know what I mean? That's a real life
Right.
situation for someone I know. You know what I mean?
I know a
And
lot
he's pretty messed up. You know what I mean? So would he consider her to be his mom? No,
Right.
he
You don't have
he
to
don't.
like it. I
You know
didn't
what I
like
mean?
my dad all my life until I got
But
older and I
biologically,
understood.
yes.
But it didn't matter. I never once was able to be like, that's not my dad, because that's not how the Most High made it. The Most High made him
Because
my
you're
father.
talking about the biological point. I'm talking about what
Yeah, I
goes
mean that's all
what
I
into it.
can go. I don't do all that extra stuff. All that other stuff is
That's
extra.
not extra.
I'm trying
Raising
to. I'm
somebody is
not
not
trying to
extra. It
trick
takes a
trick
that's a lot of
like
work being
like
somebody's parent.
Wayne Johnson. Wayne Johnson raised me. Wayne Johnson is not my father, but I respect Wayne Johnson as the man that raised me, and we talk and we spend time. He hit me on the phone. I have a relationship with him. I love
And
Wayne
most
Johnson,
people would call somebody who raised them that they would consider that
but that's
person to
not
be
my
their dad.
father. He's
You know
not
what I
my
mean?
dad.
But
He was
that's
my
how you
mom.
look at it.
He was my mama's
And that's
boyfriend.
fine for how you look at it. You know
Right.
what I mean? That's okay for how you look at it.
Right.
I'm
But my
talking about
brother look
the
at
opposite
him
end of it.
as his dad. My brother called him
So
pops.
yeah, so
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that.
you know what I mean?
I don't get down like that.
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean that's
don't
fine
get
for
down like
you.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, like I said, no, to each his own. You know what I mean? If I mean, I was blessed to have wonderful parents. My mom is the epitome of what a mother to me is. You know what I mean? I think she's the best mother in the world. I always say that hands down. Most selfless, the most caring, most supportive, just human being. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't have that. You know, some people don't. They don't. You know what I mean? So, for those people, you know, like they still like I have a best friend, you know what I mean? His no mom died when he was young, dad died when he was young. But he's a wonderful father. He didn't necessarily he didn't have any example. I mean, he did it. In terms of what a man should be. He'll say that himself, you know what I mean? He didn't have somebody teach him how to be a man, how to be a father, but he is a wonderful father. He's present. He works his ass off, 2 jobs to provide for them kids. And then still come home, take them to the park, help them with homework or whatever they need to do. Like so, like I said, you know, there's to me this is more than just the title of something. You know what I mean? And I think that's that's the difference in what we're talking about. You're talking about the title. I'm talking about what goes behind the title.
I'm talking about the biological fact. I'm not all that
That's the
other
title.
stuff.
That's
Right.
the
Yeah.
title.
Yeah. All that other
Yes.
stuff is
But
because
what
I
goes
call my
behind it?
homegirl, one of my homegirls, I call her mom. And her mom calls me her
Mm-hmm.
son, but that's not my
Mm-hmm.
mom. I know
Yeah.
that. I'm not her son. But I call her mom because I that's what I like calling her. I respect her like that. And I talk to her every
Mm-hmm.
week. And we got that kind of relationship. But that's not my mom. My mom is my mom. And that's what I like it that way. I don't, but I get what you saying though. I don't trust me. A lot of people see it the same way that you see it. I
Yeah, I'm
just
not just
don't.
talking about.
I just don't
I'm
see
just
it that
talking
way.
about the title. You know what I mean? The title
Right,
of a mom. You know what I mean? There's more to it to me than just that.
right.
You know what
Because
I mean?
most moms I know are the best moms in the world. If you
Then
ask their
that's good. You
children,
know what I mean? A
right?
lot of people have different situations, different
Because
stories. More than
most
one
moms
person.
now I do know some women or I know some people should I say who
Mm-hmm.
moms like might have like my little sister. My little
Mm-hmm.
sisters, they mom left them when they was 6 years old. She left them in the house. She was on drugs real bad. She left them in the house. And if it weren't for my grandmama and them just going by one day randomly check the house,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't nobody would never known that it was 2 little girls in that house
Mm-hmm.
under the age of 6. They're all by themselves. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's who they mom. So my grandmama ended up getting her and raising them. So uh, they, my grandmother is like their mother,
Yeah,
as far
absolutely.
as raising them and feeding them and burdening them, still in
Yeah.
school and all that kind of stuff. But their mama is their mama. Their mama just and they had a lot of trauma. They hated their mama for a long time because of what she did. But she had problems, and that they didn't understand that then. We weren't in the mental health aspect of society, especially in the Black community then. So it is what it is, but that's their mom. Their grandmother is their grandmother and their caretaker. She was the one that took care of you. My Aunt Beverly, rest in peace to my Aunt Beverly.
I
My
wouldn't
Aunt Beverly
consider
was
her
the one
a
that took
caretaker.
care of you. She was your caretaker, but she's
I wouldn't
not your
consider her just a
mom.
caretaker. I wouldn't.
Well, a mother is a mother.
But that's just
A mother holds 1,000 titles. That's what makes a mother so great. A mother has to be a caretaker. She has to be a provider. She has to be a nurse.
absolutely.
She has to
Yep.
be everything. She has to be a soldier. She has to be a protector. She got a mother has 1,000 titles.
Absolutely. Everybody doesn't have that though. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Everybody doesn't have that. Everybody's not fortunate enough to have it.
No,
A lot
everybody's
of people
not
do.
fortunate enough to have their
A lot of people don't.
biological mother be or their biological father be everything that the movies say that they're supposed to be. But
I don't know about movies. I'm just talking about life.
but biologically,
I don't know about movies.
the way God made it, this is
Mhm.
your mother. And without them two people, you're not here. You can't be as perfect and as great as you are without that woman and without that man. Now,
If you had
a
no
person
influence in
believes
raising
that,
me, then I wouldn't say I'm
if
grateful
a
because
person
you
believes
weren't
that,
around.
now when I hear, now I talk to some people, like I've known people who are atheists, then that'll be, I can't have that same, I can't have that same logic
Mhm.
with the atheist, because the atheist be like, I don't believe in God. I just believe it's random. Or if I would hear somebody say, you know what, God make mistakes all the time, and he made a mistake when he told my mother and my father to have, then I can't have the same logic. But with people who believe that God don't make no mistake, that God is perfect, then God perfectly chose this man and this woman to be your mother and your father, so that you can
We
be
have choices. You know
right,
what I mean? We have
right,
choices. A
right.
lot of times we choose to ignore sometimes red flags that are there. You know what I mean? We think that sometimes the situations will change. You know, we kind of hang around. Some women believe that if a man, cheats, or if I get pregnant, we become a family, he won't cheat no more. Like
Right,
it'll be different. And
right.
he's still cheating. Now you just cheating, and you got 2 kids or 3 kids at home. So, like I said, God is obviously God, but we also do have choices. That's the I mean,
Yeah.
he isn't so. You know, yeah, that's another conversation though. But like I said, I just when it comes to giving birth, you know what I mean, from a biological standpoint, yeah, you might have 10 kids. You got
Yeah.
5 boys, 5 girls, whatever have you. So you are a father of 10. You know what I mean? You have 10 kids. Now, if I talk to all 10 of those kids and they haven't seen you in the past 15, 17
Right.
years, they probably wouldn't call you dad. They might call
Why
somebody
not?
else dad.
Right.
But biologically, yes, you are you are the one that helped bring them here. But
Mm-hmm.
after they got here, what happened? Did they hear from you again? Were you around? You know what I mean? Like, was your presence felt? You know what I mean? So, um, like I said, I believe there's always layers to situations. It's not just always what we see on the surface. You
Yeah,
know.
I feel that. My parents had me when they were young,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty sure they were just having sex. They didn't plan like my children. I planned both. I don't have any accidental children. I planned my children, but for myself being born, I was an unplanned birth, but I was unplanned by my mother and by my father. But I believe the Most High had a plan to create me, and in order for that creation to happen, it had to take that man who's not smart and that woman who's not smart and he's smart and put them together to have me. So I'm grateful for that. Even if he did nothing else in my life but gave my mama the sperm, I'm grateful for that. I don't need him to do nothing else. He gave me life. My mama, she gave me life, and that's why a person should honor that mother and that father as an extension of honoring the Most
Say it
High
again.
universe.
One more time.
A person should honor thy mother and thy father as an extension of the love and
Oh, I agree with
that you
that.
give
I
to
don't.
the Most High
Yeah, you
universe.
shouldn't
Because
disrespect. Yeah, I'm not saying
right,
disrespect your parents.
right,
No, like they might not have been
right. But
around. Still respect.
I would
Still have respect.
always give more love and respect to Wayne Johnson, who raised me and took care of me and taught me manhood and all the things that he taught me. He was the one that was there. but
Mhm.
and I'll you know, like I pick him, but I still know who my father is, and I know that without him, I don't have a life.
I'm glad that you know who your dad is. You know what I mean? That's important. Everybody can't say that, unfortunately. And some people have been in situations where, you know, they do know their parents and, you know, they've been abused and, you know, so there's so much that has
Yeah,
happened, you know. So um,
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, you got a lot
a
of
lot
people.
there's levels to the conversation. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, right. You got a lot of people in the world who are, you know, dealing with things or cruel or evil or, you know, just downright nasty and dirty. And they're in everybody's family. And so I understand that too.
Uncle told me, Nasir, why you ain't calling Nasir? You shy?
He might have missed out
Uncle
on the number, man. Put the number back up. We want to hear from some this year.
Uncle told me a stepdad comes to fulfill the responsibility of a boy that only knows the word spelled differently. That's interesting. Okay. That's one way I haven't heard that one before, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Hold on. I missed this one. I saw, but I didn't read it. A man, but a great woman converts him to a husband. Therefore, I can protect and provide, but a good woman inspires a man to maximize his capacity.
That's true.
Well, they do say behind every man is a great woman, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
a great woman motivates a man to be better than he already is because he just wants to be better for her. You know, I've had some women in my life that I deemed to be decent women, and I
mhm,
realized with her support and help and belief in me, I
mhm,
was able to do things that I didn't even know I could do. You
mhm.
know, so you know, a great woman, you know, men aren't already husband mate. They're not already husband material. That's just not how
I'm,
it goes.
I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying I don't think some women are either. You know, there are
Oh, a
some
lot of
women.
women aren't. That's why they
There
get
are
divorced.
some. You know, there are.
They like you said, they get married for the fantasy, and then they realize the hard work that it is to be a real wife, and they see real wives and they despise them. They be like, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of work. But those women, they don't look at a lot of work. They want to do this. They want to cook and clean and make sure their
Yeah,
husband
there
is
are some
good
women
and
who do want
right,
to be wives. They
right,
do want to be housewives. Some people they want to be
right,
wives, they want to be working wives. You know what I mean? It
right.
really depends on your marriage and what works for
Yeah,
you too. You know, you might agree to stay at home, your husband works. Some people, I had a client, you know, she did the work and her husband stayed home with the kids. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and that
That
don't
works
happen
too.
often, you know, but that was their situation and it worked for them, you know. So,
Right, that works
you know,
too. As long as he's
whatever
still the
works
man.
for your marriage, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I do believe for marriage to work, both people got to buy in and they got to want to be
Yes.
married. You got to
Yes.
want to be
That's the
married.
number one thing.
You got to want to put in the work. You got to want to make it work when it gets hard, when it gets rough. You can't want to run away each time it doesn't
Right.
go your way or there's a bad argument or something. So
Right.
you but I think people don't really realize that. When they get into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know.
think I agree with you on that. I think number one thing is you got to want to be married. If you want to be married, you're gonna get married. It's just about
Mhm.
it's that simple. If you got other things that are priority ahead, like you want to get married, but it's not the number one thing
Mhm.
you want to do in your life. You want to get your career off the ground. You
Yeah.
want to do this. You want to do that. Well, then you might not get married. Being married has to be the first most important thing you want to do. And if that's the first more important thing you want to do, you're gonna get married. It ain't no stopping it.
I don't know if I would say, from my opinion, it has to be the first thing. I think this also depends on where you are in life. I mean, if you're 20 years old, my daughter's 20, I don't want you to think about being a wife at 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
That's when
I
you
want
want to
you
be
to,
thinking about being
I
a
want
wife.
you to, if you're in college, you know what I mean, get your degree. You know what I mean? If you have a boyfriend, you want to get married after you graduate, whatever, you know what I mean? But don't just, for me, I wouldn't want my daughter just focusing on a man, you know what I mean? Because I feel like men will come, you know what I mean? You if you're in college, you will meet a man, you'll meet men,
Oh
now
yeah,
will
you're
they
gonna
be
meet a
your
lot of
husband?
men.
Will they be will they be your husband? I don't know about that, but you will meet men, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I want my
but
daughter to get married. I don't want her to be I want her to be young. I want her to be somewhere between the age of 20 and 26. And anything after that,
I don't think 20 is mature enough to be married.
yeah, anything after that, you rolling the dice with not ever being married, not ever being somebody that somebody wants to. It's all gonna depend on your lifestyle, but you're wasting a lot of your great years, because your great years are between the ages of 20 and 35, and after that, you're really rolling the dice. With depending on, if you're willing to settle, that's a different thing. But if you really, and
settling happens too. Sometimes people settle.
yeah. People settle all the time because they decide
they're not happy. They go to divorce.
They don't want to die alone. It started to set in when you get older. Like, damn, I don't want to die by myself. I need
People
somebody.
settle when they're younger too. Sometimes, you know what I mean. My mom got married when they were young, so I should get married when I get young. You know what I mean? Like,
my mom
he's
got
a nice
married when
guy.
she was young, but she shouldn't have got married. She got married because the dude wanted to get married, but my mom wasn't ready to be married. She wasn't,
and that's important. Are you ready to be married? Yeah.
She wasn't right. She wasn't. She rebelled. Like my grandmama and my granddaddy were married to death did them part. And they was together since they were like 17 all the way up to they died. But my mama grew up under that structure, and she didn't like that my grandmama didn't leave my granddaddy. But it was different then. They really believed that you stay with somebody to death do you part. And that's what they did. So some of my aunties were able to take that and get married and stay together. My mama was rebellious. No, it ain't gonna work out with my mama.
Yeah, she wasn't ready yet.
No, she's not. No, not yet. Ever. It ain't gonna happen. Now she with her life partner now, and they gonna. And I don't know why but I ain't getting their business. But I'm just saying, she wants to be married
now.
She wants to be.
Okay.
Yeah, even though my mama talk a lot of trash, she wants to be. She wants everything that a marriage brings.
Okay.
And she does everything that a wife does. So be happy. But when she was younger, she was a firecracker. And that way, ain't no man finna. No, I'm sorry. Now that you got older and you got wiser, and it's different.
I'm still pissed about the HBCU talk, but Katja is stunning, so I'll stay. Thank you, Nasir. Also, I appreciate the efforts put toward the channel. I'm working on some things.
Shout out to Katja. Katja, she does everything. I just show up. Trust me, I just show up, and sometimes I don't show up on time, unfortunately. But
usually you're always on time. Always. I know. So I thought something happened today. I was like,
my phone don't work no more, y'all. So it's unfortunate. But Katja does a great job with all the graphics, all the topics, just everything. Like the new phone calls, she had the number up there you can call in. That's Katja. Katja it gets all the credit, and like I said, I just show up to contribute to whatever I can contribute to the show. But Katja is the mastermind and the architect behind it all. And you do a great job. I must say, you do a really great job.
Thank you. I'm still trying to navigate this content creating space to a certain degree. So as I'm growing and I'm growing. Yeah, I'll say it as that. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm working on some new things also that you guys will see real soon. So hopefully you guys like it and you'll tune in.
Yeah.
For example, March Madness. I will be on here live for March Madness.
Oh yeah. I'm disappointed that the kid out of North Carolina, with Caleb Williams. Man, he injured himself and he's gonna be out for the rest of the season, and he's getting ready for the NBA draft. But he was one of those players that I was really looking forward to seeing tournament time, because you're gonna have all the big names in it, and tournament time is where we really get to see are you all you say you are. And so it's unfortunate that we're not gonna see Mr. Caleb play, but we'll see. We'll see where he pans out.
That's why Notty had to settle for Tua, Good luck with that one.
Who is Tua around with? I've been hearing a lot of talk about Tua. I've been hearing some talk like he might go to the Falcons. I got hearing some talk he could go. He can go to a lot of places.
And be a starting QB or be a backup.
It depends on where he goes. I think if he goes to Arizona, he can be a starting quarterback. I think
Do
if
you
he
still
goes,
do you still think he should be a starting QB?
if you don't have a starting quarterback, yeah, he go to the Jets. Yes, he'll be your starting quarterback. If you go to Arizona, you're gonna be the starting quarterback. The Raiders don't have a quarterback. If you go to Vegas, you're gonna be the starting quarterback.
Maybe bring him.
Now in Atlanta, he would be the backup. But if Michael Penix isn't ready to go week 1, then he'll be the starting quarterback. Because at the end of the day, Tua issue is the concussion problem. He gets hurt. But if you take
Playing
the
cold
injuries,
weather.
if you take the injuries out of it, he's a starring caliber quarterback. He's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the world.
He's
If
one
you
of the
take
best
the
32.
injuries out. Right, he's one of the best 32. Now, where you slot him, do you want to put him at 25, 20, 32? Wherever you want to put him at, he's
Notice you
still
didn't
one of
say.
the.
Notice you didn't say you want to slide him in fifth,
No, no,
seventh,
no, no. We already know who
10th,
those. We already know who those
3.
guys are. We
You
already
kept it. You kept it to
right,
the
right.
bottom of
I
the
mean,
league.
but those guys count. Those guys count. If you're a starting quarterback, you one of the best 32 quarterbacks in football.
You know,
That's just
honestly
how it
speaking,
goes.
y'all, I think Caleb is a top 10 quarterback in this league. I'm betting Caleb up there, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
I have drinking the Caleb Kool-Aid, you guys.
He's had
So
one decent year, and now you want to put him in the top 10.
yeah, maybe number 10 in the top 10. I'm not
No.
saying number one. You know what I mean, because
I
number
put
one
him
is
in the top
Joshua
15,
Tyrell.
somewhere between 15 and 20.
Oh,
Somewhere
you tried it.
between
You
15
tried
and
it.
20.
You tried it.
There's a lot of solid quarterbacks in the league who have better resumes than him. But he's on his way.
His resume just started, you know, so I
Right,
can't.
that's
I'm
what I'm
not going to
saying.
put him
So
up that
why we
Stafford
gonna
enough.
put him what he hasn't earned? Like let him earn it.
But he's played better in the playoffs than Lamar
So you
Jackson
want to
has.
say he was a top 10 quarterback last
And I
year?
love Lamar.
I would put him as a top quint. Well, he hasn't. He's put Lamar Jackson has won more than one playoff game. I mean, it ain't like Caleb Williams, got to the NFC Championship. He didn't do that. So
He's played better than Lamar though.
he played
Lamar,
better than Lamar last year. I would agree with that.
yeah, but we don't know like what's going to happen in the future. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's
Right.
going to play better than him for the next 20 years.
I would take Lamar Jackson before I took Caleb Williams. If somebody said, who you want to be your quarterback today, you can have Lamar Jackson or Caleb Williams. I'm taking Lamar Jackson.
I mean, I can get that because we have a larger sample size. You know what I mean from Lamar.
That's what I'm saying.
That makes sense. But I'm not putting him above Lamar. I'm not saying he's more talented than Lamar. I'm not saying that at all. I just said in the playoffs he has shown up a little bit better than Lamar.
Lamar has shown up.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, you gotta win. You gotta win. You gotta win multiple games.
Bad about Lamar. I really would like Lamar. So I don't want to say
it only takes one bad game for you to be out the playoffs. You can have 2 good games. You can have 1 great game. You have 1 bad game, you're done.
I'm with you guys. We've been on here for a hot minute.
Yeah, we've been on here for a hot minute, man. It's been good. We talked about some stuff that had nothing to do with football, but it was still good. I said we talked about some stuff that had nothing to do with sports, but it was still good because I kind of do like if we talking about celebrity, like let's say Dak and his
gossip
lady broke up, right? I don't necessarily. I'm not really into like talking about Dak and his lady because I don't know them that way. But the situation around them, a lot of people have been in that situation, and I like talking about situations around things like that. Like it's prenup is real, and people feel differently about it. You felt one way about it, I feel another way about it, and the conversation is something that I like having. So yeah, I'm good for that. I like that.
I don't mind like a prenup. I think you should protect yourself. You know what I mean? Especially if you worked hard for something. You don't want somebody just coming in, and just taking it. But I do feel like we gotta be a little bit, more careful. You know,
Right.
I feel like sometimes, like, I use Cam as an example, and I love Cam Newton. I love his show. I think it's hilarious. I love the energy. I love the topics.
Sometimes
Um,
if you over the top.
I'll be sending this to you. I like this. Watch, this is hilarious. But he has I forgot how many kids. I think he has
A lot.
three baby mamas, maybe like 6 kids. I think he has one on the way. So with his girlfriend, the second one, and it's pretty obvious. He's had a great. I think his parents were married. I think he said over 40 years, over 35 years. They're still
Mhm.
together now. So he had a great example growing up. But for
Right.
some reason, he seems to be afraid of getting married and committing. But it's like you're not afraid of getting people pregnant. Multiple people pregnant, you know what I mean? Multiple broken homes, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, if you can commit to having kids with this one, that one, this one, you afraid to get married? Like, you had a great example, you know what I
We
mean?
talked
So,
about it. He likes to have
you know,
sex a lot with different women.
no, but he said he don't even have women friends. He don't put himself in that situation. But he has lack of control, discipline. You know, there's a lot of
Right.
things that's
He
going
don't
on. You
have
know what I
women
mean?
friends. I got a lot
You
of
know,
women friends. He don't have women friends because all his women friends, he want to have sex with them.
yeah, he has no discipline. Yeah, I said no discipline. Yeah, you know, he can't
Right.
control.
Because,
Yeah. Maybe
yes.
he could have an ugly friend. You know what I mean?
No, he can't because he'll have sex with her too. It doesn't matter. He's an addict.
He might be an addict. He might be an
Yes.
addict. Yes, that's what we were talking about earlier. He might be someone who,
Right. Exactly.
but then you have his co-host Peggy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Moderator, if you want to call him that.
Hmm.
He's just recently got engaged. I know he said in the last episode, you know,
Right.
that they were going to be, I believe, abstaining, you know, from having sex till they got married. You know, like they wanted to do
Right.
things a little bit different. You know,
Yes.
he didn't go into like no detail, but you know, they want to do things differently. They wanted to know get marriage counseling before they got married, different things. So
Right.
it's each teaches his own. You know what I
He
mean?
wants to be married, for one.
You know,
And two, he's not Cam Newton. See,
I think Cam is really. I think Cam is afraid. You
some
know what I mean?
guys who cannot escape 1,000 women throwing themselves at them every day. And it's hard to resist that. Peggy ain't got 1,000 women throwing themselves at him every day. It's easier for him. So really, a lot of women, I'll give a lot of the women advice. If you want the bag, go out to a professional athlete, a movie star, a rapper, or something like that. If you want to get married, settle for a decent, good guy he's not famous. He's not popular. He's just a hardworking dude who wants to get married and
You
wants
think
to live
everybody?
life.
You think everybody who's an athlete cheats in their marriage?
I don't know every athlete, but I would say the
Tell me your
vast
opinion. I'm asking your
I would
opinion.
say the vast majority of them do, because
They
temptation
can't.
is real. Yes, you got every city you go to, everywhere you go, every time you turn around, you got some woman who doesn't care about who you are as a person, how you gonna treat her. And she just want to have the story that I slept with this man.
Hmm.
And sometimes she won't even,
I
when
don't
she
think
go
Steph
back
Curry
to the
cheats.
hood, she won't even tell people about it. She'll just keep it as a secret.
I don't think Steph cheats.
I don't think, like I said,
I could be. I could be wrong.
I don't
I'm
think
knowing. I think he
all,
does.
I think a vast majority. So I would say 95% maybe, but I don't think all men cheat. I mean, a lot of times you just don't know until you know a person, but like I would think Steph was on the up and up. I think LeBron is on the up and up. But hell, I thought Kobe was on the up and up until it came out that Kobe wasn't on the up and up. So until somebody come out to not being on the up and up, I never know. I didn't think Magic Johnson until I heard Magic Johnson was out there slaying everybody in every city he went to. Until then, everybody thought he was the golden boy. He was the golden child. So until it comes out that this person did X, Y, Z, you only going off their personality as you see it on TV, which is not enough to be able to judge whether somebody is
Also,
cheating or not.
we're also in different times. You know what I mean? I think back in the day, before we had social media, like how we have it now, I think you probably would have found out a lot more about other athletes back then. But now, I think unless Steph met somebody who signed a prenup, not a prenup, I'm talking about prenups, signed some kind of non-disclosure or something, I cannot. I don't think anyone would keep that story to herself. there is somebody who would be so desperate and excited to go on to TMZ and say, "Hey, I slept with Steph. Look at this." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because we kind of live in those times. You know what I mean? I don't think he could get away with it unless, like I said, he paid somebody off and then he made them sign something, kind of thing. And turn your phone in before you come to the hotel room. Like, give your phone to security before you come in here. Like,
Yeah, but hell,
and
you
don't,
think
and then you
about
leave after. Don't sleep here after.
you look at all the athletes who are playing ball in this particular age. A lot of them are not coming out getting caught. So if I had to go off that, then I would say the vast majority of athletes don't cheat because most of them are not getting caught. Coming like it's I don't know. I just know that in the position that they're in, they get a
Mhm.
lot of women who are groupies and people like that who come their way and they have an
Sure.
opportunity and
They do.
sometimes it can be very difficult, especially if you a guy who came up and you weren't getting a lot of attention from women and now all of a sudden you getting attention from
Yeah,
women. That can be a very
I get that.
difficult thing to pass up. So, but a lot of the athletes aren't even getting married because of that. So maybe that's a reason why a lot of them aren't getting married because they
I
understand
mean,
they're
yeah,
not
I
gonna be
agree.
faithful.
I mean, some people were saying that, Cam, they were like, dude, you can't have a friend that's a woman. And I'm like, if he really feels like he can't, then good for him for not putting himself in that situation. I'm not going to even put myself in a situation to even do that because I know I can't do it. So
Right.
I'm just going to stay on this side away from it because I know that I don't have the discipline, that would allow me to, to restrain. And if you really, that undisciplined and you really can't control yourself, your urges, you know what I mean, or the temptation is too much, then yeah, I respect you keeping yourself away. You know what I mean? It's what you should do if you can't control yourself.
Right. I agree. Shout out to Cal Noon, ATL. College Park. He got his own street name in College Park. He got his
Really? I
whole
didn't know that.
yeah. It's Cal Noon Parkway. Yeah.
Oh, you guys, yeah, I will be live next week for Magic City Night.
Oh,
I'll be
Magic
live.
City night. Shout out to Magic City. For
I'll
real.
be on here.
Shout out to Magic City, man. It's been an establishment for 30, 40 years. And a
Oh,
lot of
man.
people, a lot of people got a lot of things to say about Magic City night. It's been very controversial. They're saying they don't see how this helps the NBA. But if it helps the Hawks, it helps the NBA. I don't understand. It's
The
gonna be
Hawks are
sold
gonna. I
out.
think the Hawks will still be probably sold out even if there wasn't Magic City Night, right?
No. Hawks gonna be extra. It's gonna be extra lit for Magic City night. You can charge extra for the jerseys. Lou Will gonna have his sweatshirts on sale. You're gonna have the lemon pepper Lou wings. You're gonna have T.I. performing. The parking gonna go up. The parking ain't gonna be with the regular. Get there early. The parking gonna be a little bit higher than you normally used to because this is a special event. So yes,
I will say I feel like
the Hawks ain't selling out like that.
as opposed for me, I think just as a brand, you know what I mean? For the NBA, it's a global brand. I don't know if Magic City is global. You know what I mean? I haven't been. I've heard of it. You know what I mean? But have they heard of it? In Argentina, I don't know. You know what I mean? They may have. I will say, Luke Cornett did have a point. With that, I think that Atlanta Hawks, NBA, they could have still highlighted how special Atlanta is, the culture, the music, the food, and everything, without highlighting just Magic City as opposed to other stuff as well.
Well, they
Personally,
playing Orlando. They playing the Magic that day too. That was part
yeah,
of
they
the
are. Hmm.
thing. But people,
Magic City, Orlando Magic.
right? You can't please everybody. I don't like when they have Pride Night at the game. Okay, some people like why you talk about the kids and all that. Why you having Pride Night on Pride Night? And like they ain't sending
I get
strippers
that
in for
too.
Magic. They ain't sending strippers in for Magic City Night. They
No,
ain't
they're
gonna
not.
have no strippers in. But on Pride Night, you get homosexual cheerleaders. You get the transvestites come through. They all at the game and get celebrated. So I mean, people. I didn't see Luke Cornett. I've never seen him write any kind of petition and tell the NBA, I don't think Pride Night is Christian like and it's not good for the league. And I don't see how Pride Night is going to help the league. They still do Pride Night. So, I mean, people can complain about what they're going to complain about. But the NBA has a lot of partnerships that I don't agree with. And they still do it and they still sell their tickets and they make their money and they don't apologize to me or anybody else for doing it.
I get what you're saying. I get that too. I didn't think about that. Oh, my Warriors lost. Come on, man. I'm good night, y'all. Good night. Just good night. Y'all have a great night. y'all sleep well. Be productive. It was almost 70 degrees here today. I was so excited. I was outside
70?
walking around.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
that's
outside.
great. Yeah, we
The
was
park
in
was
like the
packed. Central
80s.
Park was packed. I was walking around the park having a good old time. I'm gonna go bike riding tomorrow.
Oh, okay, look
God
at
willing.
you.
So
You
yeah,
bringing the
I'm
shorts out?
yeah. When no shorts, my sweatpants. I'm a
Oh, okay.
sweatpants girl.
Oh,
But
okay.
when the weather gets nice, I'm always out doing something outdoorsy. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. And then next week goes back to the 30s. Like
Oh man, that's
so
yeah. I
weird.
don't. That's
I'm like,
bipolar
what?
right there. I
It's
don't know.
like 70 tomorrow, and the next week Tuesday it's like
Yeah,
34. I'm like, what? What are we doing? So I'm gonna enjoy it
yeah.
these next few days, and then I'll be inside next week. So we gonna see.
Well, enjoy
All
that
right,
weather up in New York.
I am. You guys have a wonderful night. I will see you guys. March Madness I think starts the 15th, 16th, one of those. So
You doing the
um,
bracket?
I'm gonna try to do a bracket this year. I have never done one. But I'm gonna try to do one this year.
What's next? Next Monday is today is the 8th.
Today's the 10th
Today is
now.
the 10th.
Yeah,
Hold on, wait. I'm thinking about
Tuesday the 10th.
last Monday. This Monday that just passed was the.
Was the 9th.
Today is Monday.
Well,
Today
it's
is Monday.
after midnight. That's why I say Tuesday.
Okay, so it's the 9th. So the next Monday will be the 16th. Okay. Oh, that's Magic City
I have
night.
seen that. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So the 16th. So the tournament starts.
I believe the 15th or the 16th.
The tournament starts on the 16th. The play-in games. You mean the play-in games? Because usually the tournament starts on a Thursday.
Nasir, where you at? When does it start? I believe it's March 5th. I think the women are the 15th, the men are the 16th. Let me just see. Selection is on the 15th.
So the play-in games are gonna be on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, that's fine. We should do we should fill out a bracket.
Yeah, we should. I'm down.
Right.
I'm down with
Then you can turn it
Oh,
in
today's
and
also
then
the CBA deadline. I'm gonna they came
yeah.
to the decision. Today's
And
the CBA deadline now for the
yeah, we'll see
WBA.
how that goes. I don't
Yeah.
expect anything positive out of that situation. But
Nah,
as
pay
far
me
as the
money.
bracket
Monday.
go, we can fill out a bracket. You can turn it in, and if we hit the bracket, then we split the bread.
Wait, he said, "Are you gonna do the bracket with me, or I'm doing it alone?"
Well, I'm gonna do the bracket with you. We're gonna do the bracket on the show.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay,
We can fill it out. We can fill it out. We can argue. We can debate on who we should pick, and then once we make our selection, we select it. Boom. And once we fill it out, you enter it into a contest.
Okay, cool.
And,
I'm down.
and we'll see where the chips fall. We might win.
Hopefully, the chips fall into my account.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
All right, you guys, have a wonderful night. Nasir, as always, thank you for tuning in. And next week, Nasir, you better be calling in, man. You better be calling in on these lives too. All right.
Oh yeah. Now that I know that we got the call in, I'm gonna promote it to call it. Man, you know, people always want to call in and talk about stuff. So
I'm curious to see how some of y'all sound.
I gotta get my phone right too, because
Yeah,
that way a lot of times that's where I let people know we on live and stuff like that. So let me get my phone right, and it's One Man Cave on all social media platforms, and make sure you follow One Man Cave and see what I got going on. I got some new stuff that I'm about to put out. I wanted to put it out tonight, but my phone broke on me. But man, I got some stuff that I'm proud of. So
Aww.
Yeah. I
That's
like putting
exciting.
smiles on faces. When I put smiles on faces, it puts a smile on my face. So I've been putting smiles on faces this week. And tomorrow is my daughter's first practice for girls
flag football, right?
Flag football, right? So I know she's excited about that. She probably was been trying to call me all day. And Dad, is it practice tomorrow? What time you gonna be? What time?
Oh,
I can't answer.
congratulations!
Yeah,
Take pictures, take videos.
Yeah,
I'm
she
one of
was in the.
those.
She was actually in the chat earlier, and
She
I was
was?
like, yeah. She was in the chat earlier. Her name
That
is
was your daughter?
Zara. Her name is
That was
Zara.
your
I don't know why
daughter?
she's up late watching my channel. You know, I was like,
I
why is
thought
this
somebody
little
was
girl?
playing.
I was like, why is this little girl in here? And she's 12, so she's 11. She'll be 12 next week. But
I thought
you
somebody
know,
was just like spamming
like
like the
no,
chat.
she's just a child, and she's like shouldn't be
Oh,
on the on the platform. But she probably follows me on
uh-huh.
YouTube or Instagram, and it popped up that I was live, and then so she was like, "Let me go see what my dad doing and talking about." And then she got on there, and she thinks she knows some stuff about sports, but she got a ways to go. But she loves Steph Curry though. And she believes that Steph Curry is the greatest thing ever created for
Since sliced bread,
basketball. Right, right,
since pancakes, all that good stuff. Yeah.
right.
hmm See, her and your mom know. The problem is you. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Like the issue is you. Mom know about Russ. You don't know about Steph. You with LeBron. The issue is just you, man. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
not with LeBron. I'm with Russell Westbrook. And then after that, I like the
And
Joker.
LeBron.
Those are my favorite. I just respect LeBron, but I'm not a big LeBron fan like that. But I respect him. I can say that he's the best player that I've ever seen. I seen Jordan. I seen Kareem when he was old. I seen Magic as he was getting up there. Bird. I seen a lot of great players. Isaiah Thomas. But
hmm
and Jordan is arguable though.
hmm
If anybody says Jordan, I can't argue with him. He was great. I can't. Like I said, he should have won MVP every year. He was the best player in basketball. So
All right, you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. See you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. God bless. Be blessed.